phone talking to the astro world.
This nigga's telling me that I'm retarded. Like,
Believe him.
bro, no, like, no, dead ass, dead, like, this nigga is telling me I'm retarded. He's showing me shit like, yo, like, bro, you're retarded. Like, this is why you're here. This is like your little safe room. You know what I'm saying? Because you're retarded. You know, so like, what? Yeah, see, the other gods, we're all like, we're capable of like changing form and doing this and this and that. So, but you don't really have control. You just kind of like expand out, and you just kind of like do a bunch of random shit, and you're just like you're just everywhere, bro. You're just everywhere. And I'm just like, am I the retarded universe? Oh no.
It gets like that sometimes.
Yeah. No, don't worry. You ask me and your brother, we'll tell you the same thing over and over again until you change.
I've been telling somebody that 10
Right.
years. It's the help. It's the assist. Is what I see. He's not a diss. I get retarded too. I'm gonna name this one. Get retarded. Get retarded spirituality. There we go.
It's a state you can flow in and out of, brother. But you act like you stuck in that loop. Ego.
I mean, I'm always stuck in the loop. I am. I look at the Ouroboros on a daily basis. I wake up and I see that shit in my face. I'm like,
And
hello,
contemplate what?
huh?
And what do you contemplate after that?
Shit, what don't I contemplate? It'd be easier to shake an ass, maybe.
Man,
Uh,
look.
and things
Instead
that's
of
like
writing your
only
own
average
ass,
in my mind. Uh, wiping ass. I don't know. Fuck.
you want to be the Ouroboros. Since you keep biting your ass, why don't you switch it up and bite your own clit for next time?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
You would have been stuck in that loop, man. Come on, man.
Sometimes you play with your dad. I'm beyond that.
Let's do
I'm
this.
Jael. I'm beyond this. I'm Ja the
Nah.
Supreme. Jael. Nah, see, like, ego is bro, I love, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know how you guys feel about my sense of stuff, like how you view me. Like, if my ego's too
It's always gonna be
inflated.
misunderstood.
Facts. That is true. But like,
But it's all love, bruh.
it's all up. Real talk. I've always been told that like I'm an arrogant bastard.
Yeah, because you don't
And
want to
like,
be stupid.
I don't want to be stupid.
I get it. I get it. You don't wanna let loose. You work too hard, read too many books. You see how the world is going. Pattern recognition is too hard to get through these gates. But sometimes, well, we supposed to stop them from getting through the gate.
in general.
Like sometimes, were they supposed to get in? Like, how did your girl get in? Did you?
Like you see how things are going, where they're figuring out different ways to control us and make us into little minions.
And what way you talking?
Like, bro, we used to kill things. Now we go to Starbucks and Burger King, and we flip fries and fry shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
It's not the same.
man's been domesticated since I would say all the way back it started in the 1920s. Like the real domestication. I would say beforehand, man was semi-domesticated. You know what I'm saying? It was like we had some of the technology to like make us to separate us from nature enough, but we were ourselves psychically, like mentally, and even in our environments, was still more into this realm of like in the realm of nature, in the realm of whatever we gonna call it. But like now, we're like the little chihuahuas that like Paris Hilton carries around in her purse. Like we're that.
I think it's
We're that
still
thing.
all kind of choice too. Cause I've been watching Joe Rogan for a while,
It,
so I
like,
get to hear how like different rich people and people that just think a little different and make those moves while they think and live. Like he be talking not just about him being a hunter, but his hunter friends and how they'll like have a deer that they can hunt and eat. And we know it's a lot of deer around, so it's some people going around. I think it's just such a veil of corporations, like you saying, that when you caught up in it, that's really all it feels like is there, because that's what they want it to feel like. Like, oh, this is your best relationship you ever gonna have. If you ever leave here, you gonna fail. You gonna suffer. Ain't it's really nothing out there. I don't even know what you thinking about. Thinking too hard. But it's people in America hunting and doing different things now. It just take the mind state. Cause then like somebody probably want to do it amongst their friends, and then all the other friends like, no, we don't hunt. Oh, how could you ever think of something like that? And he's like, oh well, I ain't gonna never think of that again. I'm just gonna go to the store. And they can probably just come across, look up some Google research, find a club in the area, and like make some moves. Like you are right. People are programmed following the pack. I was talking about that earlier. That's why I'm fired up about it. About people hunting, because somebody was saying you got a lot of energy, and I was like, yeah. And with this lot of energy, I do a lot of different things. And I got real specified and whatnot. But I was saying you don't get rid of the gun just because it killed people. People go hunting with it. Like you don't get rid of fire just because it's a lot of forest fires and people houses burn down. You need the fire to light your blunt, light your bong, and to cook your food. It is how it's used. How is that energy being used? And then when people go into the horror stories of life, the people that be, they put a lot of fear layer over top of things. So it's like, oh, I can't think too much for myself or go far because I ain't gonna be able to eat tomorrow, or I ain't gonna be satisfied. My dopamine ain't gonna get that rush is used to getting. Or in the other field, I ain't gonna feel happy. Or I need my Sprite. I need my Coca Cola. That's how my Aunt Trisha grew up. She's still like that. Every day a Pepsi, but now it's coffee and a donut. But nah, it's all fun though. It's all fun. Cause now I'm getting into more kombucha drinks, and I'm seeing how that's even a play on corporations and people that think they're getting healthy. They making them look like cool beer bottles and a 4-pack and stuff, all this cool print. And then I was learning that most supermarket brands don't have real kombucha, and you like gotta go to a natural food store or learn to make it yourself. And they like watered it down so it doesn't have too much alcohol content, so it can be legal, but that way it don't have all the health in it. I'm like, everything's a game. But it's fun. It's fun. And that's why I'm gonna learn how to make my own shit more and more.
we've
As I,
always been stuff skills, but like,
so
it's I don't know, man. I just like not one person can't really do it alone. That's why governments are made. But like, I feel like tribes should be like the cutoff, or like communities should be the cutoff. I don't think that um we should treat our neighbors like family. You know what I'm saying? We're all the same culture. But like, if that can't be the case, then we need to like gather our closest friends, get their kids, and somehow get everyone on board with like, hey, we gotta learn these types of skills, like of like home development. What we have to get serious about it, just in case. Like, and not even just in case, just because
just because.
this is literally our roots. We are man. We cultivate, we grow, we create, and we sustain. We are like, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing more like being human than going out, growing crops, killing something, and growing, like literally just living off of like what the earth provides. Just being in touch with your roots right there. That's like, I don't know.
It,
That's right there in itself is like giving so much.
it's giving me kill it in
Like
whatever
on
you
the
do.
spiritual level and all.
Yeah, kill that shit, motherfucker. What the fuck? What you up here waving your arms around for? Do your best
Oh,
dance. Sing your best song.
venison. I need some venison.
Kill it up on that
What's another?
stage.
Like,
But like
I'm
what?
just
I'm just
watching the
trying
stream,
to
watching the stream.
watch the stream. Oh, so cry up.
Some Call of Duty, we just won. I did some pretty good damage.
Nice. Um, but it's kind of crazy, like how I just want to go back to this fear that stopped me from asking questions
Yeah.
because it was asking questions. I remember the first question that brought me fear. That
What was that?
oh, not like a question of like, oh, it's got like it was like, is God real? Like, I asked myself, that was a genuine question. I asked myself, I remember the moment I asked myself that question, genuinely to myself, because I never questioned God.
And what
I
kind
never
of fear
questioned God's
popped up
existence.
afterwards?
And I
Like,
was like 17.
what form did the
Doubt.
fear pop up?
Oh my God, it was so much doubt. It was just like, it was like a cracked window.
Here's the thing:
That's
if God were real,
That's-
He would be inextricable from anything, from the farthest reaches to the closest reaches, from the smallest to the largest. God's present in all things.
so you say.
So do you think that the fear that was popping up could
He
have been
should,
like the idea of God?
Let me just tell you this: when you don't breathe and then something breathes you, what's breathing you?
I think we going over concepts right now, cause you saying what's breathing you, and that can be a bunch of different things. And what ego was saying is the what I feel as though is the one thing that he was taught is God, like is a man and a woman or in chair is this one thing that's like doing the one thing, like a person would be, like is one person on the other side doing that. So I think like what that God means can be scary because of what we were taught by the people around us. So if we don't have that like that individual understanding, it comes it comes with a lot of confusion because this person said this and this person that moms changed their whole life for God and grandmom did this for God, but Uncle Leroy, he's a Muslim and he doing everything for his God. Like everybody using the word God as their overall justification, but they're all have different justifications. So the definitions in a lot of people when they first come across the fear of, well, I don't believe in God anymore then. And that's how you get a lot of angry atheists running around. I was watching the Jordan Pearson versus the 20 atheists. He was sitting in the middle, and they was like 25 and younger and whatnot, and they was all just asking, debating questions. They really wasn't just asking; they was debating. A lot of their stuff came from ways that they were taught when they was younger and kind of rebelling against, even in their own words while they was talking. Like you can just see it. Or they say, well, why do all Christians think this about God? So this means God don't exist. I'm like, well, who said the idea of God was just up to the Christians? And now you don't believe in nothing but what your eyes see. But yet you feel and you dream, and now you got to go with all that reality. And what does that mean? Life is always though going to take the turns, and I'm interested to see what people come up with, because the overall essence is going to come up with something. It's going to come up with names. It's gonna be like, I'm this, I'm that, I believe I'm that. I'm like, all right, I see me, I see what we doing. And sometimes I'll probably even get caught up in what the other person's saying. Oh, okay, yeah. Because I'm a human too. But then I still got everything, yeah. I think when I allow my mind to get into these experiences, I'm then able to see what's going on more so than thinking I'm in the experience. Like it was this old episode of Penny Proud. I mean, Proud Family always came back to on mushrooms and every time, where she had to write a report for her school, and she was about to fail. So it had to be really, really good. So she went undercover to this boot camp and dressed in like acted like a different person. I think she was acting like a dude on some shit too. And when she came out, she was able to write a report through the circumstances that she actually went through and give it to the teacher. And she's like, hey, this is what I was looking for. Like, this is right, and this is a paper. Not just what you thought about. Yeah, you just gotta do this. And if this happens, you just gotta do this. It's like, wait, you're gonna just want to do this when this happens, but all of this is going to be in your face, and the past is going to seem like it's real if it was traumatizing, trying to bring fear, and then this is going to happen if you had that good friend on the side that say, hey, fuck that, or a friend that grew up like you, so you think the whole world is just you and your friend, and they like, oh, well, you know that's how it is. The world is fucked up. We all about to die now. Might as well quit. So in the experience, we actually are able to see what's going on. Have that mind state to say, this is how you draw a circle. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's the little things. Okay, people literally build rockets and stuff like that. Like, I think a lot of people that it's iffy because the world is a cube, it's flat, it's a cone. I heard yesterday, so I was like, no, it's a cone. Y'all all got it wrong because things can only spin if it's inside of a cone. I was like, all right, I feel you. Everybody gonna come up with their own thing. But science and how we come up with things, I was going to say, I think a lot of people that go into a lot of things doubt themselves because they're doubting humans. Like, humans have built rockets. We build skyscrapers. We build airplanes. That's from, like, strategic thinking. Thinking that stuff actually exists, which it does. As well as their imagination. Because, like, you got the engineers, you got the CEOs that's like, yeah, I'm going to take credit. I did all of this. And then it was somebody sitting in their room drawing with their imagination, drawing wings and planes and different ideas out. And just like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I got an idea. And I got a little background in this reality with how gears work, or how to make plastic, or how to make cameras, because they study circuit boards and shit like that. So somebody never had circuit boards training, they be like, oh, that's the devil. That's the devil, that circuit board training. No, you just never learned the shit. And now fear became the devil. Unknowing thing, not knowing shit became the devil. And a conspiracy to beat you up just because you don't know about it. But yet, the opportunity to learn about it is there.
Very true. Very true. I've heard a lot of people say that. Very true. Very
It's so simple. The more we keep just realizing the things that's happening, or the what's up?
Ego trying to spread that infectious fear, man. You know, fear is a disease, trying to spread it to the rest of us, man. That's crazy.
You know how these cells be working? Like, it's a show on Netflix, Cells in Motion. The cells have personalities.
Get rid of them viruses.
Nah, we don't get rid of viruses. We mutate altogether.
That's the hard thing about the virus. Viruses, you actually can't get rid of a virus. I heard.
You just mutate.
One of those things that you can't get rid of. So
Yep.
don't let your disease turn into a full-blown virus, Ego, before you infect us all.
Infection is only in the mind. You can't get me. Sorry. But no, it does happen because we're all helping out each other.
Hey, y'all, you seen that movie? You seen that movie Sinners?
No, I still didn't see it.
Sinners, huh?
Nope. I heard all the raves about it.
That's real good, bro. I just watched it. Yeah.
Talk about
I ain't
it.
gonna lie, I heard the raves about it too, so I'm thinking everybody was putting it on thick. Like, everybody was putting it on thick. Like, yeah, it's the best movie ever. My nephew said that. I got a brother that said that he watched it 10 times. I'm
What
like,
movie
man,
is
it
that,
gotta
Master
be good,
Creator?
right? And he watched it on bootleg too,
What movie is that, Master Creator?
called Sinners.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's real good. Y'all gotta check that out. I watched it on the weekend.
What was your
I
favorite
was
part?
actually very impressed. I'm like, damn, the whole thing.
Come
I
on,
ain't gonna
stop talking
spoil
like
nothing
me.
for you,
Come
but
on, bro.
I'm gonna watch it
Come
tonight.
on. I was just trying to get you
you
to
know
say
how we
something for the
tied it on
podcast.
down, man.
Cause the part I want to
The
see,
podcast.
part I want to see is
Oh
when
yeah, because
they
my
was
favorite
dancing.
part was seeing Cryo get shot in that motherfucker. You gonna see Cryo get shot in that motherfucker. I'm just
So
playing,
funny,
Cryo. I
bro.
just want to see your face. I just
So
want to see
funny,
your
bro.
face, bro.
You
Come
hit him
on,
with
bro.
a
I
good
just
one,
want to
bro.
see your
That was
face.
good.
I just want to see your face, man.
I saw the one scene though where all the music was happening in one
Talking like that
spot
when I saw you in person. You was chill in person.
because that's how it is. Not much people debate with themselves, and then when you see them
Close
in
the door.
person, they're
I don't
smiling
want that smell
and they about to go make
out
a
while
million
you.
dollars. But when they was home,
I
they was
close my
about to
door so
kill
the smell won't be
themselves.
smelling that while you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, man, we're not doing that. Smelling that while, nah, we're not. I had to.
No, man.
nah, I'm just messing with my wife.
No, what it smell like? What it smell like, man?
Chronic, straight chronic, man. My wife be doing her prayer moment. My wife be doing her prayer moment, so I don't be wanting to have that smell around. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna close this and close that. So when she do her prayers moment, she, for about 2 hours, she go into it. Her and her girlfriend. So I try to keep the smell down a little bit.
Nah, give them that holy smoke, man. It's like I feel you.
Yeah, I'm talking about this is the fire. This is that. This is your best. That dude that you thought was your real friend, but he got a whiff of this, and he saw it left on your table, and he stole it. You like, I can't believe Mike did me like that. Yeah, it's that fire.
Hey, the second
That
hand,
fire.
the second hand is just as potent as the first hand. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I'll work
That's
on it. I'll
all.
work on
You know
that
what I
joint.
mean? Like,
That,
yeah.
that wasn't the chronic. That's the bomb right
It's,
there.
it's
You know
the,
something crazy?
yeah, this is, I would say
Let me
this
go
is
light this
closer
up.
to, uh, not the taste of bomb, but it'd be closer to bomb, but the taste more like chronic, but it got that bomb vibe all day, all day. Like, wherever she got this from, you need to keep that up. This is really cool. Yeah, I heard you talking about fear. And you know what's crazy about fear is fear has cousins, and his cousins they affect you over time. Because when you're a child, you pretty much have a lot of fear of a lot of things because you're unaware of what things are capable of doing. Then when you get old enough to know what they're doing, like a teenager or something like that, then you become scared. That means that um, you may still fight the dude. Somebody say, get him, Master Creator, get him. But Master Creator have always had that fear as a young child, so now he's just scared. But he's still gonna fight him. He's still gonna fight him. So he's fighting not because he's scared. Then so that scared makes people stop, kind of like the scared kind of hesitates you. And then when you get older, you get afraid. You become afraid. It starts with fear, then it goes to being a scary person, then it becomes to being a person that's always afraid. Meaning that since you didn't get over your fears, and now you become kind of scary, then when you get older, you're going to be afraid. You're going to be afraid to try something new, afraid to tell them no, afraid to uh, say what you believe in. And that all stems from you being scared, and that comes from and you being scared comes from that fear when you was a child. like like you got some kids who, when the little bully or the little kids in the hood would be like throw rocks at him or something like that, he'd be that one kid that always run home. He never stay out there with the rest of us and throw rocks back, like throw one back. He don't do that. He run in the house. He has a fear of us and the rocks and all that. So he gets older. He start being scared. Now he's scared to come around us. He's scared to hang with us. And then once we finally become full adults and we moving on in our life, he's afraid of us. But so I like when you said fear. I just trust me out how fear has those two cousins of scared and afraid.
Mhm.
And they're all so different because fear is something like if you turn around and you see something or hear come at you or that you can't comprehend a solution, it will create fear. Like if somebody looking in the dark, but they can't comprehend a solution of what's down there, it'll create fear. Then scared is recognizing the solution and don't want to do it. Now you're scared. And then
Yeah. What you
afraid
scared of?
is recognizing the solution. Yeah. And then afraid is recognizing the solution and repetition. You've recognized it so that much. You've been scared so much that now you're just afraid. But you don't. But people that are afraid, they're not just afraid. They came from being scary.
Mhm. And building
So
up
so
those
you
mind
so
thought
when you think
habits.
about the little, yeah, you know. So somebody say, man, I gotta strengthen up. I gotta tighten up. Okay, well you gotta think about go back to your childhood fears and see if how many of them did you brush off? Like how did you knock them all off, or is something from your childhood still lingering that you're afraid of? Because you can only be afraid unless you were scared of it, and the scare come from the fear of not knowing what to do about it.
Yep.
You
Hey
know,
Nabi, I used to be
like
scared to
it can
talk
be
to
That
as
sounds like
simple
the
people.
as
disease. That sounds like the
Uh,
disease that evolved into the
yeah,
virus, as we was talking about earlier. It starts off as a little petty disease, You let it linger
yeah,
there long enough, it festers and fingers, and it evolves and transforms, like Ty was talking about. And you
right,
full
mhm.
blown
right.
afraid.
Trust me, I
It
didn't
is
used to
like
know
a
how to
that is
talk to people.
like
I,
a virus. It is like a virus because it starts off as fear,
yeah. 'Cause Nabi, I used to not. I was talking to my
but
grandmom last
as you
week,
get older,
and she was
you
saying,
it turns you into afraid.
she was talking about my voice sound different, and I talk like I'm older. And I was like, oh, don't say that, cause I was like don't say I'm getting old now. I like to talk. And but she was telling the way I pronounce my
Yeah,
words and my attention to what she's actually saying. Cause growing up, I didn't talk to too much. I didn't talk too much. I had a lot of these mind thoughts just wrinkling and
Yeah,
turning their
I
gears and
remember that
shit like
time.
that. Yeah, even though
You
talking to
used to talk.
y'all.
You used to talk and not even look us in our eyes. Remember that
so
time?
would you say
Yeah.
so just would you say that would you say social media help with that fear?
How I use social media, because I put a presence on there, and if I
Yeah,
didn't use
yeah,
it
me too.
to put my presence on there,
Yeah,
how I take people that's running the game on it as opposed to people that's following the game. Like, all right, I see how you
yeah,
getting these going. Like, you feeling good
right,
about
right, right.
yourself. You just talking. You just comfortable. You just being yourself here. It's like, all right, I could do that too. Like, I don't have to be like the adults I grew up with
Yeah,
that was kind of
yeah,
uptight and didn't want to really express themselves to not hurt the other person. And if they did, they just did it all the time. So I was like, oh, I don't never want to be like that. It's just, like, see it for myself.
yeah, yeah. When I was younger, I had a fear. One of the main fears that I used to have was the expectation side, like being a young guy, um, brought up in the project kind of neighborhood, and so expectations is everywhere. From inside the house, because you're coming from this environment. So the inside the house is you got to get a job, you got to be doing what you got to do. Outside the house, it's like You gotta, stand firm, and so that they won't look at your house like that. So I had this fear of letting people down. You know what I'm saying? And this is when I was younger. I had this fear of letting people down. That means that no matter what I did, if I was doing something good for myself, and I could see that that person lost, or that person wasn't going to do it, I would share it with them. Because I had a fear of letting people down. Like, see, like being with people and seeing them like that. I had a fear of that. So as I got a little older, I was afraid to see people like that, or act like, or see myself in a different, even if I was. But
Mhm.
I became afraid of that. So then I started gaining all these unnecessary friends. The scare I was scared to say, uh, yeah, we cool, man, but I ain't on that, or I was
Yeah.
the expectation side of it. So it led to me being scared to say certain things, and then that led to me totally not doing the things that I needed to be doing at that moment because I was afraid. I was afraid that if I did what I was going to do, it was going to take me away from them. It was going to take me away from this and take me away from that. So what I had to do was go back to the initial fear, and that fear was letting people down. And then that's when I said, yeah, but what type of plan do you have for yourself as far as letting yourself down? Now, I can see that if you could tell me your plan as an individual of how you're not gonna let yourself down, then that's cool if you got that for them. But can you? I'm saying this to myself, and I didn't have that, and I was like, oh, I don't have that. Okay, that's why you in that predicament. I was like 39 or something when I realized this. I was like, okay, that's why this is going on. I was like, okay, so I let all that expectation go. Which means I let all that fear go. And 15 years later, the last thing I'm afraid of is how people feel, or because or letting people down, because you're not letting them down as far as them asking you to do something. You letting them down. You think you letting them down because you recognize them not achieving something, and so you go to help them to do it. But maybe they don't really have the passion for it. See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Being afraid led me to having a whole bunch of people around me, man. That you know
You was a
that wasn't.
caregiver.
I don't think.
Became a
Yeah,
caregiver.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it be simple stuff like
Uh
that,
huh.
man. Fear ain't always being bullied, or somebody being aggressive. Sometimes fear can be approach. You can be afraid to approach something. You can be afraid to say what's on your mind, and you can be, it ain't just always in confrontation. Fear shows up in a lot
Yeah.
of places. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just confrontation. You can have a fear to get on stage. And
I feel like that fear is necessary because it helps you release like that self defense mechanism you got.
yeah,
If you're not afraid, you're not going to utilize like your true
yeah.
that true thing that you have within you. You know?
It could fear be a mechanism or a signal to give it all you got. Because if you fear something, that should be the moment you give it all you got, because that's the moment that you're submitting. You're submitting to something. It's something that you're submitting to, that you're saying, I can't control that. You know, you, and there's certain things that deserve that, like a dude with a gun in your face telling you, giving you the money. Um, like a dude with a knife at your woman's throat talking about give you the money. Certain things deserve for you to be afraid. But everything, but you shouldn't be. I don't think we should be just people that's afraid to speak our mind, afraid to no. But I think afraid. There are necessary moments for that. You know what I'm saying? Like to be afraid, because I don't think no humans walking around on this planet that don't got one of the three: fear, scared, or afraid. If he does say he don't have it, he lying. We got one of the three. I know I do. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm 55, but it still exists, because there's a lot of things that I could do, but I don't do, and that has a lot to do with being. either fear, being scared, or being afraid. I've heard people say that they scared of success. People are afraid of it. They really good and talented. As soon as the record deals start coming, they start shining down. Nah, nah, I'm cool, that's good. Because they have a fear of being successful.
And that's real shit.
So,
I remember the mushrooms was talking to me about that a couple years ago. Fear of being
That shit was good.
successful and the way of thinking in a poor mannerism without
Let me take
ever
some ones, matter of fact,
realizing
just in case.
that that's a poor way of thinking
Drop
about
it.
life. So that's what you're going to get.
yeah.
It's like you can
Hmm.
always get to that point where it's like, all right, it's right there, and then something pop up, and then it's just forgotten about. But that whole forgotten about
Yeah.
is a whole
9876.
reality. It's not the mind just
Hmm.
Check it.
forgetting about it and something popping up. It's way more going on there. Cause if that was somebody else in the position, they'd be like, I ain't letting this go. Like you know what I got built right here. Like this
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
I've been
You know
getting
what I
into
mean?
more and more.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Like, yeah, man, for real. Like, it's like afraid. Like women, even women, they be like, women make men, can have men in fear because um a man can start loving a woman, and but he doesn't have everything that he needs, and he know it, but he love her because she understands that about him. And so when she around other people and around other dudes, even though none of those dudes are going to try to talk to her, he has a fear of them doing it because they appear to be in a better situation than him. And that fear is coming from insecurity. And that, because insecurity comes from the less you're in control of everything you got, like who you are, what you do, and the less you are in control of that,
The
insecurity can
more you're
settle
gonna
in
control
because
somebody else.
yeah, 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 insecurity can settle in.
Up,
Because
Nobby?
there's women. Hey, what's up, brother? There's women in this world that put fear in men because the man start off with her normal, he like her, he tripping the fact she like him, he start kicking it with her and stuff like that. But he know he don't have the money to do all the things with her, but he want her to kind of see that and move with him. So and she got that vibe like she gonna do it too. So she get to moving with him like that. But every time it could be something simple as sitting on the bus. They on the bus. They didn't caught the bus. And some dude then sat by her, you know, and he said, you smell good. And she said, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And, he get off the bus. Now, in his mind, there's all these possibilities of this dude
Is
taking
that
this
the
girl.
first time he
Because
said
not
thank you?
not because yeah, not because he's ugly. This dude, he's not thinking that he's ugly or none of that. The insecurity is coming from the lack of self control of everything. Like like when you sit next to a woman and you're not in control of who you are, you will be insecure. I don't care who you are because when you stand next to her and you don't like, I don't care what it is. Like if you got your cutting grass, whatever it is making where you feel like who you are is who you are. When you sit down to her, you're gonna be less. You'll be less to become insecure because you're secure in of yourself. So it's like so to you it'd be like, well, if she don't, that's on her. But to the other guy, it'd be like, oh, you gonna do that to me? You gonna play me like that? He not he technically she's not playing him. He can just see that she's, by him not having what he thinks he needs to have her, in his mind he starts to have a fear with anybody. It can be just be the supervisor saying bye to her at work when he picking her up, and what was y'all talking about?
I saw that one
Stuff like
movie
that.
before when that happened. I know what's going on exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be this guy. See, the only reason why I'm talking, because I used to be this guy, like years ago. Like I used to be this guy, like because I didn't have everything, all my I didn't have everything in order the way I wanted when I even told my wife this, like, in our beginning, way back then, we've been married together 20 years, but I'll say way back then though, first 5 years of this, when we was building it, I was very insecure and I was jealous of you. I was jealous of your beauty, and I just thought that any man could get you from me because I knew I didn't have a car and I knew I didn't have none of that. So I apologize for being jealous like that and insecure because I didn't have my stuff together. I was like, that's all it was. What I didn't.
Yeah,
I
I've
knew
been
you
down
weren't. I knew
similar
you wasn't doing
trains.
that. Yeah, I'm like, I knew you wasn't doing nothing. I mean, you was like hand in glove, but yet I still felt like the glove was off sometimes. When everybody else seen me, it was like, man, you don't never take them gloves off. But in my mind, it's like the gloves went off. You know what I'm saying? Because of that small thing, and us men, we all get it, we all acquire it, and then, but it's like that just lets us know, like when we do become insecure, that just lets us know that's a signal that there's something about myself that I'm not handling, because I shouldn't even be worried about that. Like I should be able to have contact with this human and this person, this female, and I shouldn't have to even think about that. Like if she want to be with the dude across the street, that should not affect anything that I got going on.
Yep.
Like
As you
period. So that
decide
I'm
what
gonna
you
be,
have going on and know more and
yeah,
more. Yeah.
yeah. So I'll be less insecure about it. Now, if she
And
went
that's what I
across the
had to
street
learn
with the
about
dude,
security too, bro. While you on that tip,
yeah,
is that security means having a wealth of thoughts, not being secure about something that you already in not feeling in a way.
yeah,
Like it's being secure
yeah,
about the things that make you secure. Like so you do the
yeah,
things that are secure for you.
right. The things, yeah, the
So it's
things
not a
that make
self
you
it's
who
not
you
a
say
false
you are.
confidence. It's like something actually
Yeah,
happening.
I don't care if it's just going to the library every 2 hours a day. This is what makes you. You go into the library 2 hours a day. You work at McDonald's. When you get off McDonald's, you go play your game. Then on your off days, you go to the library. You do that. Then you got a community and on the gaming sites where that's your community. Then you got another community. So now you implementing yourself to where you busy, to where you like, yeah, what I'm saying, I gotta go. When I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So when you meet this girl, you know what I'm saying? When you meet this girl and you like, oh yeah, she pretty and everything. Yeah, I like to kick it with her. And if she don't have herself secure, then she'll be insecure. Who's that girl you was talking to? Who was that? Who was that you was on the phone with? See, if you was really secure about who you was, you wouldn't even care who I was on.
Hmm.
I've
Or
never.
ask the
I don't
question in
even.
that way.
Yeah,
There's other ways to ask the
yeah. I don't.
question.
Yeah, my wife. Like my. I'll tell my wife that my code is this. Go in there. I ain't ever looked at her phone. I wouldn't even know what it's like. I ain't ever like a couple of times she told me to put her hand in her purse to grab something, but I'm like, I be telling her like I don't. I'm saying like I don't, no disrespect, but my sister's 5 years older than me. She taught me that. You know what I'm saying, when I was a young man. So I learned that from a woman. So my older sister. So I gotta hold on to that. Like my hands have no business near a woman's purse. Nowhere. Like you had to give me permission to get it. Like, oh, you had to come hold the purse and then let me get it out. I do my wife like that. She'll be like, "Can you get this out of there?" I'll go get the purse for her, hand it and hand it, like that. Like, cause I don't want. See, that's that thing I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? Like if I was insecure, you know what I'm saying? When her back's turned, I'll be looking, trying to see what's this. I'll be looking at her phone and all this old freaky shit that you know what I'm saying, where you looking through her phone, scamming, and who's this? Who's this? You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all that. See, if I was secure and had my schedule in order, then I wouldn't even think to look through nobody's phone or think to look over my shoulder to see what some woman are doing. Because I'm so far on my road, and every time I look over, I see her. But she can clearly see that I'm not stopping at the same time. So that means she's chosen to take the journey.
Yep. Don't move too much. You'll
Okay.
get shaken off the boat. Rough waves sometimes.
That's right. That's right. It can happen. You damn right, shoot. Because the house is the ship, and once you go in the streets, that's the ocean. Now, it's a lot of rafts out there. It's a lot of people on rafts. Now, if you get caught up hanging with people on rafts, don't bring them back to the ship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
cause
they're gonna need to
this is the
attach
ship.
their raft to the ship and slow it down. Need some ropes.
Yeah,
Hopefully the locks
yeah.
work.
Cars are
Hopefully they're
rafts.
not
That's cars are
pirates.
rafts.
They
Yeah,
try to take it over.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? The cars are the rafts, and we use them to go get supplies. So it's like, okay, you you know, every time you go out, you at the club and type stuff. Then you know, you at the club and the toilet paper low, and you got two people coming in with you, and you got all this going on. You didn't painted a picture for me to make me only think, what I'm saying, that you are not seeing what's going on with yourself. And that is that it's easy for a person to get lost off of the things that make you tick. Like, cause some people, we watch TV. I always say we, cause I don't never want to make nobody feel like I'm pointing nobody. So we watch TV. You know, we, you know, we watch social media. And all these things. And so, we get into these women and stuff. They get into these places where somehow they start feeling like that's that what's going on in life. But what's going on in life is one thing. What makes you tick is another. See, because you're the only one getting timed. Like, just because you see me, that don't mean I'm getting your time.
Yeah,
Your time is your time is your time. So you have to make you tick.
it's like an ad.
I can't.
Paying attention to an
Yeah,
ad.
yeah.
You could just skip
Now,
past it. You can wait 5 seconds. The button gonna come up, or you could just like go into another zone and do what you gotta do. And you're like, oh, I gotta
yeah,
buy this now, or oh, why they trying to get me to buy this? It's like just let it go.
yeah,
Let it
yeah.
go.
Just let it go. Yeah, just let it go. You know
Unless
what I'm
it's what you
saying? Like,
want. Mhm.
why is Remy Ma online? Why is Remy Ma online? With army fatigue on and all this. You know, talking about, yeah, you know what I'm saying, and he ain't got no money, and
Oh, the
you
papoose
know,
situation.
yeah, and he don't see his kids. This is what I was just saying. Boy, if that don't sound like insecurity, I don't know what is. Boy, that's
Yeah.
some, boy,
And
that's
did you
some
see what
jealous
both of them did
insecurity there.
too? They they both went and got somebody that looked just like the other person.
Crazy.
It looked like a
Yeah,
Walmart version of the guy
yeah.
of Papoose.
Uh, Papoose, he definitely scored there. He scored. Now her, uh, yeah, he got a good high credit score. He can do some things with that. But what Papoose is over there laying with, she broke records that men haven't even broke, and she's the champion in two or three classes, and she can rap her ass off, and she's pretty too. That's a lot of shit. Then when I look over here at you, Remy, what you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You trying to be like those chicks on Love and Hip Hop. See, you like how what Jim Jones and this woman was doing. See, you tried to do that with Papoose. What you tried to do. You
Yeah.
so you so Papoose wasn't really into that. See what I'm saying? But you want that Hollywood life and all that. So now you telling him out of your own insecurities why nobody asking you to inviting you to nothing. Now you want to tell him he ain't nobody. You just reflecting your insecurities on me. Like when somebody tell you you ain't nobody,
Nobody.
they reflecting their own insecurities
In
on
that
you.
moment, and then
Yeah,
they
in that
go
moment.
into the crate of catchphrases, the throwback at you. All right, this one is going to
Yeah,
stick.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know who you think. You ain't nobody. You ain't. Don't nobody care about. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody. Don't nobody. Like,
And how they think
like,
people was making them feel, even if it wasn't the case. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you was making me
I,
feel like this. Like you're responsible for how you take in things, and that's where communication down the line come into play, or just knowing
I
what you
just,
thinking about while you communicating.
when I'm thinking about that, don't nobody. I'm just trying to see where commonly those two words are used like that back to back in just normal English terminology, like just regular discussion. Like, don't nobody. Like, it just sounds like some made up. Uh, like, I don't know who. It's like when they say
Don't
they,
nobody.
like right there when I say they, like they say, man, they be saying that they. Okay, I don't know who
Who's
don't
they?
nobody. I don't know who they are, and I don't know who they are. Nobody's ever came up like, hey,
But
we were
they
they.
hate you.
And
They don't
yeah,
like you. They
they
gonna
don't
do
like.
this.
Yeah,
They go.
yeah,
Yeah. Watch them
yeah.
come then.
You tell them you tell them you say, well, you tell they to kiss my ass,
Yeah.
but then they'll get mad because the they is them.
Yeah. That's why I always when I'm
Is
talking
it?
with some people and I'm trying to really like sometimes get in to what their the sauce, see what the flavor is. I'm like, all right, I see we're talking, but I mentioned something, an experience that we had, and now you jump into a hypothetical situation, and I can see how the hypothetical reaches into the situation we're in now or that you're in now, but if you can see your own life, how that
Right.
hypothetical was happening, but in your own storyline, like how you had to
Yeah.
breathe through those and stuff, then that would help with what you're going through right now a lot more.
Right. 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 You know, understand? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. What makes you tick? See, if people just go off what make they tick, everybody be happy because it don't take a lot to make you tick. It's just that expectations, that fear of feeling like you nobody.
Hmm.
That fear of feeling like
Being
I
heard
don't
or
want nobody. Oh,
misunderstood.
yeah, misunderstood or all these things. Like, no, man. Like, what makes you tick? And so, if you stay on what makes you tick, you'll meet a lot of talkers. You know what I'm saying? And y'all be on perfect. Y'all be on time. Like y'all like
Because that's why a lot of
meant to
people
be
don't
around each other.
talk. Because they scared of a
Yeah,
lot of things and a lot of insecure or I'm gonna offend
yeah,
or I don't really think it's going to be funny or and stuff like that.
yeah, Cause insecurity don't mean you weak.
Yeah.
Insecurity just mean you hiding your real feelings.
Yeah, you're not trying hard enough.
Hmm.
You ain't gonna find nobody better than me that's gonna abuse you better than me, girl. That's gonna be more insecure. You ain't gonna find that.
As long as you say it out loud.
Hmm. Hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. He's saying that because
I'm playing.
he's reflecting.
Yeah.
He's reflecting himself. Hmm. He
Or even
want
when
her to
girls
feel
say it
like
to guys, you gonna get holed out. They gonna take advantage of you. It's like, hold up.
hmm
Think that person not gonna be able to think eventually for themselves? It's gonna be the end of everything
right, right.
if it ain't just this happening.
Hmm.
You think you with a
Yeah.
dummy? Like,
Hmm. Telling you, bro. That it's simple stuff that somehow there's human natures that been tied with being soft, but it's just human nature. And so then, so men end up sheltering it, and because he think he's soft, but no, you're not soft. That's just human nature. You just gotta, what I'm saying. It's not, it's not soft to. It's soft to pout, but it's not soft to cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, they two different things. You know what I'm saying? Somebody pouting about something, you know what I'm saying? That can get a little irritating, even though they crying. You know,
yeah, cause
you
the
know what I'm saying?
pouting is like that recognition of what's going on, but then you just keep on
Right,
saying what's going on over and over and over again.
right, right. Where the pouting is only an indication that they want somebody else to do something about Right. That's why I said it's soft for a man to pout, but it's not soft for a man to cry.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have sympathy for pouting man. I just don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. I just don't. I just really don't. I don't know. Don't say it to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to sit down and have a discussion where we can talk about it and maybe work through it. You just want to pout about it. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't trying to solve anything. You want me to solve it. Just say that. You know, why you gotta do all this pouting and stuff? You know, that's called going around me to go through me.
For
Some people
free.
will try to go around. Some people will try to go around you to go through you. In other words, they'll tell just how I say, just how I say, all right, Navi, you no longer can you come on the site and you're not welcome, man, because I don't
Here I
like
come.
what you said. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, yeah, all right, then, cool. And I hang up. Like, yeah, man. Yeah, creator, when you go in there, you think you send me an invite and I just tell them, listen from your angle. Yeah, but I thought he said he didn't want you in. I know he said he didn't want me in there, but I'm still, you know, I'm still trying to get the information. You know what I'm saying? Still trying to get. That means you're trying to go around me to go through me. People will do you like that. Like people. A girl will do you like that. She'll go around you to go through you. She'll tell her homegirl to call you and tell you that she wanted you to tell her that she gonna be late for work and all this. She'll go around you to go through you. You know what I'm saying? Like people will do you like that. Like go around you. That means that there's somebody in front of them that's speaking for them. And you didn't already told that person that you and them don't get along. But they keep bringing them up to you because it's how the person on the other end is bringing it to them that makes them think it's innocent what they do. So they start going around you. That means you don't want to talk to them, but you still gonna hear from them because they friended this person to go around you. So they still
The
get
The
mushroom
to
man
you.
mushroom
moves
blue
me.
is me.
Crazy, man.
So
Oh man, I almost thought
I get
that
that
said
last stuff.
T. I thought that was a T-Mobile symbol down there. Like, damn. I was like, whoa. That's the first time I've seen. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Black it. Take those.
That's the first time I've
It's
seen.
the same thing. Just
So I
on
can go.
Who's that?
lettuce,
Who is
pickles,
that?
salt.
Let's see here.
Mustafa? Mush. Oh, Mushman. Mushman Moo.
Mushman Moo.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah,
my other
Mushman.
account. So I can go live and
Oh,
stream on the same
I knew
time,
something
but
was
be on
up.
my phone, so I can
I
walk
knew it. I was
around.
like, yeah, I was like, something. I was like, no, I don't remember. Like,
There you go.
and Mushman Moo. Moo.
That's
Mushman. Mushroom Man.
yeah. The mushrooms come from the cow poo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mushman go moo.
I I was talking to I was talking to uh I was talking to Rance about the slaughterhouses and stuff like that. And this was like the other day, me and Rance was talking about it, and he was saying I was trying to tell him why slaughterhouses exist, and they have to be here because humans don't hunt anymore. So it was a time when humans would go and have to hunt their own food. Wasn't no such thing as a grocery store. Wasn't no such thing as that. It was you and your lack of fear to go kill something and eat it. And that so we were hunters. And then what happened was the hunters, these people started building these places that they call civilizations. And so inside of this civilization, they controlling it. So people was going out and hunting, and people was having deer and all this stuff laying around and all that, and they want to control it. So they decide to create these things where it can be a one-stop situation with the meat. That means one hunter. So that means that the grocery stores and the farmer are now the farmer and the hunter, where the humans used to all of us used to have to know that manually as just as a child. But
Can you repeat?
now, since grocery stores been around, um, the nobody's a hunter anymore. So since you're not going to go out there and hunt your own anything, that's why a slaughterhouse exists, because the slaughterhouse is meeting the demand of the civilization that they built, and they put the grocery stores there so that everybody wouldn't have all this dead hunting meat and all this like it was in back in the days. They didn't want to do it like that in civilization. So they made a grocery store. That way you can get everything from right there. That means nobody's hunting anymore. So now that we're not hunters anymore, and that means that the slaughterhouse has to exist. So they're not hunting anymore; they're slaughtering. They used to hunt, but now they slaughter because now it's more people in their civilization, and they got to meet the demand at their grocery store to keep people from going out there and everybody trying to hunt and farm on their own. So they just cut everybody off at the pass. And in the process of doing that, we are no longer hunters. So that's why they do all the hunting. So now the future of the hunters are slaughterhouses, and it's only slaughterhouses because they're civilizations. If it wasn't no places where there was going to be organized control and law
Yeah.
and things of that nature, then there wouldn't be no need for a slaughterhouse. They have to set stores in the middle of these places so that people won't all be going out. People's stomach growls at different times. So you got now the earth is full of so many people in cities and states and so populated. We all ain't gonna be out there hunting raccoons, doing
And
all
you
that.
think
So
everybody in these days gonna know how to skin their own animals and make sure the meat is treated right, or make sure they
oh
ain't eating tainted meat? Like, it takes a lot of thinking.
no,
So it could
no,
be
they
a
not.
handicap to society that this kind
Yeah,
of
but
thing is happening. Like, people
yeah, but
need
see,
to think more, but
yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. It was a
I'm not
time
saying to
where
go
hunt.
against it. But
No, 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 no. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I'm just saying that there was a time where not knowing how to skin a raccoon, the average 5-year-old knew how to do that because there wasn't no such thing as grocery stores. See, people are only vegans because of grocery
Oh,
stores.
sure.
You take the grocery store out the picture,
hmm
he'll come around the corner with some
Thank you very much.
rabbit blood in his
I
mouth.
really appreciate that.
He'll
yeah,
come around the, you know
Thanks,
what I'm
Bob.
saying? If you take a vegan, you say, "Are you vegan?" Bet I'm gonna prove that you're only a vegan because
Good
the
night.
grocery store gives you a choice. I'm gonna take you somewhere where there be no grocery stores, and keep the mind that you're a vegan. And let's see if human nature lines up with that thought. Maybe 6 weeks later, I come back and here he come, but he got some squirrel blood at the corner of his mouth. I'm like, what happened, man? What's going on? Oh, nothing, man. Glad you came. I'll bet you want some of this lettuce or whatever. No, I'm cool. I'm cool. Human nature kicked in, huh? See, veganism and vegetarian is all a construct based on grocery stores.
yeah, bro. I was just talking about that earlier, cause the kombucha juice. I was looking at the new cans they got, and now they decorating them, make them look like 6 packs of beers and stuff, or 4 packs. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this is pretty cool. But then I was
yeah,
reading about most of the kombucha you find at the stores, unless you like really know the brand. It don't really have all the health benefits in like the full kombucha. Like, they water it down on purpose because it's the grocery store. And like, if you just make
yeah.
it on your own and stuff like
Right,
that, it's way
right.
better.
And just think about our ancestors that was just putting dirt and flowers on top of dead meat and for seasoning. They didn't have no ovens or nothing like that, or no refrigerator where they can, you know what I'm saying? But they was living to 100 and some years old because they was eating like a human is supposed to eat. Then somebody came around and took us out of human nature. Said, "Here's a refrigerator. What I'm supposed to put in that? The stuff at the grocery store. What's that? I got squirrel blood in the corner of my mouth. That's what I'm used to. I'm a human. I know how to speak and talk and all that, but I'm a hunter. We wasn't ignorant like, no, we were talking just like we talking now, but we were more mannish. We was hunters. Wasn't no such thing as unemployment and applications because all kids work with their family. When we was all hunters, so that means that if I was a carpenter, my son was going to naturally be one. There was no such thing as applications and all that, but there's applications now because nobody's hunters. See, they took us, stop us from being hunters, so they go and hunt everything. Then they put it in a store right in front of us. So that now I can say I'm a vegetarian, I'm vegan, I'm, we can say all that. But the truth of the matter is, we only saying that because we got grocery stores. That's it. You take that grocery store out of the picture, and 6 weeks later, I'm gonna see you with some squirrel blood in your
I
mouth.
say too. Most vegans are privileged people that have access to funds and some kind of money, unless they're homeless and they're just like vegetarian. Like they have some
Yeah,
kind of settledness in reality. So the grocery store plays a big part of it because you're able to go to the grocery store in the first place to be a vegan. Most people struggling to just make it to the grocery store and get
yeah,
anything. So they say, I'm gonna
yeah,
go to the grocery store and I'm only gonna get the most expensive things in there because everything else in there is trying to get me. It's like that's a
yeah,
privilege. That's a
yeah.
that's a privilege.
That's facts. That's real. Like, man, when you get a chance, just time, man, go look at this. It's on YouTube, and just pull up 109-year-old man renews his license. And so they interviewing this man, and they asking him, because he renewed his license at 90, then he renewed it again uh, at 97 or something like that. But he lived to 109. But anyway, uh, and he kept passing it. So anyway, they asked him. They said, "Okay, you're 109 years old. His girlfriend was like 90 some years old, and so him and her, they talking her talks. They see him ride. So they asked him. They said, what do you think is the secret for you living so long?" He said, I never changed my diet, and they was like, "Oh," so they thinking like, "Oh, so what's that?" He said, "I wake up uh at 3 in the morning, and I give me a shot of whiskey. And after that, a little bit during the day, I eat me a little ice cream." They said, "What kind?" He said, "Vanilla ice cream." And he said, then at the end, he said, this is what he said. You gonna see it. Then he said, at
Uh-huh.
the end of the day,
I left
he said,
Dr. Brook some cookie and cream ice
yeah,
cream yesterday.
he said, and then he said, at the end of the day, I drink shots of whiskey. And so the guy said, "So that's it?" He said, "Yeah, it always worked for me. I didn't ever feel it. Always was good, felt comfortable for me. Because you know how people say, man, you're supposed to eat this, you're supposed to eat that, but he's 178 pounds and he's 103 pounds. There's no way that the same what you're talking about gonna work for him. So that's what I mean by knowing what makes you tick.
Yeah,
Because
for sure. Because
you
it's
know what
like
I'm
that for
saying?
people that live in the Arctic and different cultures. Like if we eat
Yeah,
their food, we'll get sick. But if they eat our
yeah,
food, we'll get sick. So if we know their food that they eat actually makes them more prepared for their environment. Like probably they need
yeah,
more blubber, more fat or something on it withstand the cold or something that helps the skin so now it can help withstand the sun, get the melanin
yeah,
popping and stuff like that.
yeah. Oh yeah. That
Even
and
us
then
being out of shape is a privilege when you think about it. Like if we
yeah,
would have been
yes it
out of
is.
shape back in them days where
You'd have been
running
rich.
for 5 minutes
No,
get you tired, we dead already.
yeah.
Either from a
Oh yeah.
predator or we ain't able
Oh
to
yeah.
catch that food we want.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm
Well,
saying?
no, yeah. I don't think it. I don't think
Mhm.
it. I think
Yeah.
maybe women. Women. No, they not even them. None of them was out of shape. None of them. Because they had to really hunt. Wasn't no grocery stores. Wasn't no fast food restaurants. There was no such thing. So the last thing somebody gonna tell you is, do you want to become a vegan? This is the world. There's some dude that's come out of a spaceship and come to you while you looking at this bison over there, and he like, would you like to go to the store? No, they might size him up. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't never seen him. They might size him up. Think about eating him because they don't know nothing else about that construct of eat this and eat that. Because the government, how can somebody tell y'all that y'all lifespan will be about 76? How can they tell y'all that if they not the ones giving you the stuff that prevent that? So if you
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Yup,
So
and
so
then
it's like
talk about
Medicines and the food we give you guys. You guys have a projection about 76. All this
right.
carcinogen in the foods we got for you. You got about
Mm-hmm.
76.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Instead of
they'll
knowing what
literally
just makes you tick.
say, "Oh, in other countries though, the life expectancy is 120. Over here is
Eh,
110." So wait, I thought you was talking about human life expectancy, not just what we got going over here.
right, right. Specifically, all grocery shop, shoppers, all grocery store shoppers. Your lifespan is in between 76 and if you lucky 80. And if you bless, you'll live past that. But that 90% of people that go to grocery stores live to about 76. When there was a time when there wasn't no grocery store, the average person was 102.
And what you getting when you at the grocery store. You know how they got all the pre-made stuff, and they sell the
Yeah.
stuff for you to make everything you want from scratch. It's a choice.
Think about it. Jeff. Do you think do you think it's a coincidence that no matter who you are or who your family is, everybody dies the same 5 ways? If it ain't an accident, that's not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence.
I haven't paid enough
That
attention to
that is
that.
premeditated, bro. That is premeditated right there, and we can't see it because they wrap it up and tell you it's good for us.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's why some people have different ailments that they'll see their parents had, so they'll do some workout or think they're doing something to try to combat it, and sometimes it works
Yeah.
out for the better
Mm-hmm. Like grass
when
itself.
kept with consistency, because the genetics can
Yeah.
always like try to do their thing, but like how our mind
Yeah.
and state and what we actually do over long periods, like people curing
This was
diabetes and stuff like that.
yeah. This what you ask somebody. You ask them, hey man, show me some lettuce in the wild. Now
I
you
did
got
just
this
find out
healthy.
how wild lettuce is, but I think that's more it got some
Yeah,
opioid stuff in
they,
there.
yeah. They don't have any. Yeah, they don't have. The first apple tree was uh 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 the seed was put in the ground in 19th century, only because he went to Asia and got fruits, and they combined it, and it created that seed. I mean, that fruit that came out created that seed, and they took that seed and it made with the apple. So, uh, and the same thing goes for the banana, the grapes, and everything.
Yeah. And
And
better
so the
than that,
crazy,
show me a vibrant colored wild fruit.
right?
Cause you know how you go to the grocery store and they're just so brightly
Hmm.
colored and they look
Right,
so fresh and
right,
all this. Like, man, that
right,
ain't no real fruit.
right.
Yo, it's just like
Yeah,
putting the holographic on the Zompacks. They got all the colors on.
yeah.
I
You know
want it now.
what's weird? I'm gonna tell you what's weird about that banana. If you go look up that banana, I think the other day I had my notes out and I was going through the names of these things, but this banana that we call a banana, but technically it's this thing that come like this fruit that come from Asia, and it's about 3 feet long. And this the crazy part about it. This the crazy. Um, they love eating it because the the outside of it is completely like yellowish, uh, like a yellowish green, but then the inside of it is green. So when you
Hmm.
so it's weird that when we get it, it's yellow on the inside. Where's the green shit that's supposed to be in here, man? What's up? They so little, and why they? Oh, the green shit gone. No wonder they 6 inches long, 7 inches long. They supposed to be 3 feet long. You ain't never seen like the only time you see gorillas eating bananas when they got cameras around and they giving it to them to make us think gorillas eat them. They don't eat that shit. They don't eat that shit. They don't eat that shit. They got some trees up
I'm
in
about to.
Africa
Uh huh.
in the mountain. They got some trees up in the mountains up in Africa that they even started planting that shit around and stuff like that. This all been going on. This is recent, bro. Like this is gonna trip you out. The apple, the orange, the banana, the grapes, the pear, the plum, the peach, all these things, man, only like ain't even been around 200 years because they all
No, they
came
move
around in the
fast.
late they came around in the late 1800s, 1900. So what I'm saying is the Garden of Eden fruit, we ain't never seen it. But the people in Asia and the people in China and then Central Africa, they eat it. And other
Yeah.
people, they
Yeah, that
when they
shit's
brought them
good.
over here, uh, when they decided that they was gonna be independent, they couldn't bring none of the real fruits. So that's why we had to make our own.
Yeah.
That's why we got all this.
And I
That's why
don't
that's
mean like there's not bright colored fruit fresh off the tree, but I'm talking about once you pluck it and you leave it out
yeah,
for months or something, like how they do it. They be
yeah.
shipping it. It'd be like they don't stay that color, man. If you plucked
Yeah,
it off the tree.
no. Yeah. I see what you said. Yeah, it be all in the store, it be looking all bright and fresh. Like, damn, what? Like, how so? How so? And why has it got to be cold? Where it come from, it ain't cold. So why y'all don't have it in some hot area? Cause it ain't that real thing. That real thing got that green in it. It look green, like the
Yeah,
yellow part.
I'm
It,
looking at it
it
now. They
look green.
say in Asian cultures they eat it a lot when it's still green. That still have the starchy varieties known as planktons, known as plankton.
Mmm.
Oh, plankton. I'm thinking of the
Yeah,
Jamaican
well,
banana, but this
but
what
think
they put
about
in
this,
here though.
Clank. Think about this though, plankton. Now, the rest of our sky is plankton. We got 70% nitrogen, 22% oxygen, and the rest plankton.
And what again?
Plankton.
I mean, what's the
You got
percentage
70,
add up to? I don't even
70,
know what it
70
is.
is 77. I mean 70% nitrogen, 22% oxygen, and the rest plankton. So it would be 8% plankton, like somewhere around in there. But they just say the rest. They don't say like.
Exact percentage.
It only say the percentage of the oxygen, and it only says the percentage of the nitrogen. Because we breathe more nitrogen than oxygen.
There it is. I'm seeing right here. How do plankton contribute to ocean's oxygen production and carbon cycle? Ah,
You see it.
through photosynthesis, photoplankton uses sunlight to convert carbon dioxide and water into organic matter, releasing oxygen as a byproduct. Estimates
Mm,
that roughly half of the oxygen produced on Earth comes from the ocean. Not from the
yeah,
ocean.
yeah,
From the
yeah,
majority of this
yeah,
production attributed
yeah.
to oceanic
Cloud,
plankton.
yeah. Clouds have
Man, they
it's
said it
called
came
a
from the trees. So we could say fuck the
yeah,
trees then? It's like I'm playing.
but see, just just think about people that's eating it. Whether it's 7% plankton and they over there eating them. I ain't gonna call it banana. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But they eating it, and they healthy, man. Man, them people be living like. Just see, that's how bad America is. America's so bad. It's about as fake as our first five presidents. The fruit is because you don't know no white people named Washington, but our first president's named George Washington. But you can't find no white people named Washington.
They just don't live in the city. They got too much money. They've been rich
No, man.
since they was for
No,
300
man.
years.
No,
They ain't living with us
no.
other slave
There's
house
no way.
people that got
No.
the slave master Washington name. They out of here.
No. No.
That's the
No, man.
Illuminati. That's why they
Mm-mm.
going. They
Ain't no such thing. See, it's a whole thing about the first five presidents because and why they wore those wigs because they were Spaniards mixed with Caucasian.
And they had syphilis.
That's why they didn't have Caucasian names. But then when the first full Caucasian came to be president, he had a suit on because that was the symbol of the Caucasian. Before that, it was the Whig Party because the Whigs wore the same things that the Knights Templars wore,
Mm-hmm.
and the
I'm
Mace
telling.
and
They
the Mace
started the wigs because they
Masons
had
wore.
syphilis a lot back then. So they was balding. So they still wanted to look prestigious. And so they wanted to be a part of that prestigious group still.
Yeah,
You had to put on the
yeah.
wig.
Some say they didn't want them to see. Some say they didn't want them to
Even
see
if you
that
ain't
Spanish
have it.
hair,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah, yeah.
Hispanic hair.
You know,
You
culture
know,
comes
because
along with other things to make excuses to
yeah,
build it up, keep the story going.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
While the
Okay,
ones in
well,
the back is
so
like, man,
you think
it's because I got a
you,
STD.
you think they did Lincoln like that too?
What you
Because
mean?
ain't
He
no
was
white
really
people
short?
call no, ain't no white people called Lincoln.
Now, the only Lincoln I ever heard was the car.
Ain't no white people called Lincoln.
Black or white. I ain't. They took him
That's what
out
I'm
of
saying.
here.
That right. That's just how the apple
Oh, that's
and the
just me.
oranges are. They just like that. They just like that. They seem real, just like they seem like we see the Mount Rushmore and why it's in South Dakota. All of it symbolic. And so when we see it, we think it's five white guys, four white guys. That's what we think, but it's not. And so same thing with those apples and oranges and stuff like that. Man, come on, man. Think about these people, man. Just really think about it. Think about think about how they run this country. Think about how the greed that they have. Why would they give us fresh fruit on top of that? When they in control of agricultural uh dispersing and all that. Why would they do that?
I think their
When
excuse would
we could
be cost. It would cost too much. That would be,
right,
that's what they say in public.
man.
It costs too much. You know how much it would cost if we
Well,
actually did it that way?
uh,
This way is way more efficient.
their justifiable reason for New World Order and population control is because they can't keep up with building the houses and building the things that it would take for all these kids born out of wedlock. Because it was a
While
time
while
that
at the same time, while at the same time keeping them under their system. Because they can
yeah,
build the places. It's like America even got
yeah,
a whole bunch of empty land. Half of China is about empty, but that's just because the mountains and
yeah,
stuff. But most of America is
yeah,
empty, but they like people don't want to live there. Who said people don't want to live there? But the realtors that's trying to sell you the houses. Don't go over there.
yeah, yeah,
You gonna want to build your own
yeah.
house and be lost. You have to
What
be off grid or
they,
whatever.
but they, yeah, they're trying to say don't go over
You know
there
what's still
because
them engines over there, right?
yeah, you don't want us involved. They're like, we're not going over there if you want us involved. We're not going. They like, we not
hmm
going. But it's like our country, our country and how it's designed. That the elites feel that population control is justifiable due to the lack of being able to build houses because you got mating, sex, and fucking. It used to the man first started coming here in mating, and that's how we were doing it. See, now when you talk about the sex came as if you notice in the beginning, no men, there was no such thing as applications or work for hire, nothing like that, because most of the people were mating and they would have a child to help out and things like that, so that when they raising the child, they already know he's gonna be a carpenter and all that. Then you got having sex, people that really don't have no reason to have a child, but they desired and lust pleasure, sexual pleasure, and in doing so, they end up having a baby. So that means that even myself, that was born into a world from a mother and father, they didn't have no reason for me being here. It was just based on sex. So from there, I have to pick up an application. Then there's the ones who come through fucking fornication under common knowledge. That means when you have sex with someone that doesn't have common knowledge of sex, which would be a young person, you fucking them. So now you got all these uh, women, these women who've had babies. You've had these women
They
who've
just
had
was
babies.
fucked.
Yeah, Fornication under common knowledge. So you had
Oh,
women
I
who
get
had babies.
you're doing the acronym. Yeah,
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 and
yeah.
that fornication under that common knowledge caused her to get, she was young, she had a baby, she didn't want to keep it. So these babies end up in adoptions and foster cares and stuff like that. Babies that come through fucking. A lot of babies that's in foster care and stuff like that, that's straight fucking. That means that it was somebody that took advantage of this girl. Then, like I said, then
They
there's the
couldn't
sex.
process
What?
anything.
Yeah. So
But
here's
go
our
away
government.
from me,
Now,
baby.
I said all that to say this.
Uh
So
huh.
now that we know that the original plan was for us to come in mating. Unfortunately, pornos and certain things like that got us into lust and desires and sex. So now there's a lot of babies being born, not because the man and the woman saying you ready to have a baby. No, he's looking at her ass, she's looking at his biceps, and they ready to get busy. And from that, there's a whole bunch of children
And
in
is
the
that
world
still
that
another
that
control of
that
nature though too?
yeah,
Like they
yeah, yeah,
getting
but
past a certain level of fear,
yeah,
but it was
yeah,
somebody, it was another businessman waiting for them at that door too. What a decision that
yeah,
they can make on how to live at
yeah,
that level. And most
yeah,
people,
because
since they didn't give the wasn't given the opportunity, the the mind to think for themselves, they followed a leader. So it's like, all right, I'm
yeah,
out here. So now it's time to have 10 babies with a half of a job and no dream.
yeah, that comes most of it comes from sex. People that desire a woman like the way she look, it ain't like, oh, she can have a great daughter for me, and then my daughter can be my secretary or things like that. It ain't that. It's just her ass, her titties, his
Yeah,
biceps, and then now they got a baby. So
I always
now
tried
that
to
the
be like
government
that. No, it's hard.
the government the government recognizes the government recognizes this census. They recognize that there's a lot of
It's
babies here
impossible.
that are born through this activity of sex. So they don't make houses enough for that. Because family names don't have enough money behind them, certain things like that. Even though we got sovereignty, but they don't pass it out. But
Mhm.
so they figure, since this is our civilization and we're dispersing the groceries and the food and all that, then we're gonna decide how many people gonna be in it. Period. So if these people are having sex instead of mating, and so all 20 extra babies are being born every 5 minutes because they want to fuck and have sex, and they don't, and they bring in children into this world with no purpose. That means
Mhm.
they're gonna have to have a job. That means they're gonna have to have a job. I say, and then that's when they figure we're gonna cut that short. We're gonna give them a diet where they'll get 76 years. That way we don't have to build as many places. We can just upgrade places.
Don't be thinking for too long, cause you're gonna be out of here since you ain't want to think too
Yeah,
much. We
yeah,
need
they
contributors
be
to society. We'll treat you like a baby now. Give you everything
yeah,
that
but
you think you need, that we think you
yeah, that's
need, and make you think you came up
yeah.
with the idea.
Yeah, because they're the ones who made the fun
Yeah.
land. This amusement park that we call America. They the ones who like put the orchestration down. Like how it's gonna be orchestrated. Stop signs here, stop lights here, walk this way here,
Mhm.
crosswalk here, uh, no parking
That's
here.
bro. They
You
just
know,
added
uh,
a traffic light. I've been here for 6 years, turning this corner right down the block, and I will have my if
yeah,
and buts about it, like, oh, I gotta take too long, or oh yeah, I can just go. But now they added a
yeah,
traffic light and made a new apartment complex at that corner.
yeah,
So it's like some big
yeah,
station city work going on, cause now all the motions
yeah,
going through that light and how things are is changed forever.
yeah,
It'll
yeah,
never be the same.
That's that
yeah,
fornicating under
yeah.
common knowledge right there. That's what's happening.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of fucking. So the word mother. So when you think about the word motherfucker, you got to realize what he is. He's a person that had somebody that he fornicated with that had common knowledge of it and made her a parent. He's a motherfucker, a mother fornicator under common knowledge creator. He creates mothers out of children. That's a motherfucker. You can't call a dude who has just has sex with a woman a motherfucker. You could only call pedophile a motherfucker. Because that's what a motherfucker is. They didn't say the word pedophile back then. They said motherfucker. But we didn't took the word motherfucker and made it. mean a lot of things now. But back then it meant what we call pedophile today. They would call him a mother. He's a motherfucker. That means watch your daughter. Because he don't care if they got knowledge of sex. He likes having sex with people that don't have knowledge of sex. He's a fucker. And then so when he gets them pregnant, he's a motherfucker. hmm Sex, I got here through sex. I got here through sex. Um, Unfortunately for me, I didn't get here through mating. There was no plan for me, so it was evident somebody wanted to fuck. I mean, have sex. Because my daddy didn't fuck her because if my daddy couldn't fuck her because she had knowledge of sex because she already had my sister. See what I'm saying? So she already knew what sex was, and that ain't my brother's. That ain't my me and my brother's daddy. My sister's daddy's not. So that meant now I don't know. My sister's daddy could have fucked my mom, but my daddy he had sex with my mom, and what was fucked up is I had sex with my kids. I didn't make nothing into this world. Everything was brought through pure sex. This is a reality that people don't look at.
Let it
But the
rip.
powers,
I
but
hear
the
you.
powers that be, but the powers that be, they look at it
Hmm.
because they the ones dispersing the food.
Yeah, cause
They the
it's
ones
it's
dispersing the
what they're
electricity.
making out of the situation, not just what the situation is in life and the
Yeah,
universe breeding in and of itself. It's
yeah,
more, all right.
yeah,
Somebody see that somebody gonna make this kind of move over
yeah,
here, and now they want to take a
yeah,
little advantage so they can make some profit.
yeah. It was like that place Sodom and Gomorrah and all that. It was like one of the beginnings of that type of just the allegory story that was kind of like the beginning of over here, kind of like because humans were meant to multiply, be fruitful and multiply. That meant that you wouldn't have a child thinking about sex. You would mate with her and she'll give you a child so that you can have help and help her. And that's how it was. But see,
Yeah, fruit's supposed to
we,
be good. It's supposed
yeah,
to be good.
fruitful, but instead, you know, the serpent, if you look in the story, the serpent gave Eve knowledge of it, of what it was. She didn't do it, but even though she didn't do it yet, he told her, like, yeah, y'all can make other people.
Yeah.
You lay with your husband, y'all can make other people. So he's telling her, but before she can even mate with him, before God can even get him to mate, he's already got the woman ready to have sex. And so she come back to him and tell him about it. We can make our own people. All you gotta do is lay on them. So they had sex. That's why the first child, Cain, what I'm saying? When you think about the first child, that's why he was like that. He was because he didn't have no purpose. So after God punished them, remember, they went out of the garden, and then they had Abel with purpose. So automatically Cain was jealous of Abel because Cain wasn't born of purpose. So he'd be like, God, why would I have to have the thorns and all this? Basically, you ain't even supposed to be here. This is not how I was going to populate the earth. But
But
now
yet
y'all
we
know.
exist, and yet we are
Yeah, but now
here
y'all know.
breathing
Now y'all
with
know.
thoughts and
Now y'all know.
ideas. It's this song
Now
called
you know.
Avenged
Now
Where
Sevenfold.
you know what
where Abel lied on
that.
Cain, or where Cain lied on Abel.
Yeah, I
Abel
mean,
side of the
Cain.
story.
Well,
I remember you was telling me
Cain.
about that one.
Yeah,
Uh,
because Cain was the first hater because he couldn't feel his purpose. He could see his brother Abel had God's favor, his mama favor, daddy favor. Yeah, because that was the decision they made to have him in the beginning. That was Eve
But what about
telling
the flip
Adam
side
to
too?
have. The first
About
lay down
Cain
what
still
what
existing,
no purpose.
like Cain still existing, and what he had to do to still survive and things like that. Like the thought process of feeling separated, yet still being a part of what's going on. But
Yeah,
because of the
cast it out
culture
into the
and
world.
stuff is the way the culture and
Mm-hmm.
stuff is set up, the Cain feels a
Yeah,
certain way. Cause it's a
Right,
lot
because
of
if you
Did
look
you hear
at
that song time? What was
if you
that
look
song
at
about? Remember?
it.
It's
Uh,
basically how did that song go and what was the allegory of that story? On the,
it was an
due to
old
that
Avenged
song you were talking about.
Sevenfold song called
yeah,
Chapter 4, and it's because Chapter 4 in Genesis is where Cain and Abel was fighting and stuff like that. And if you take it like
yeah,
that, they was writing say from his point of view and being out of the sight of the one and being outcast. You know how he got the lightning bolt
yeah,
struck on his forehead in order to
Now you
so
yeah,
everybody
you
can always
closing
be a
in.
symbol. Like, hey, he's
yeah,
struck. Like he's not
So
of
you,
God.
yeah. Yeah,
so
like most kids that come through here through sex. When they get 18, they told to go get a job and all that. They don't know why they're getting told all this. But they getting told to get a job. Yeah, because you can't do. Then when they get married to his new wife, then they have a baby, and then he can see like, oh, he treating that baby better. Yeah, because they had a purpose with that one. He wanted, they got married and they thought they should have a child. See, your mama and him was different. They was both lusting. So that's why you came with no purpose, just like my kids. I had to teach my kids how to get a job and do all that because I had no purpose for them. I just was having sex with their mouth. That's just reality. So when you look at the politics side of that, population control is only in effect because of that. We just around here, because of sex, we popping them out, and we not looking at it like, oh, okay, well, damn, I might as well raise him into my world, keep him out of the application world, now my purpose is his purpose. No, we don't do that. We like when you get 18, you go have to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a perfect sign that you was born from sex. And they say, well, what about he was born with his parents and they was both married? Yeah, but if they didn't have no purpose for him and they wasn't telling him when he was 6 years old who he was gonna be, then them two just had him because they was having sex.
Yeah. So that's what
They
I was
probably
talking
they
about with
probably
the
got
show, the song and stuff. That character being able to come up with something amongst all of those scenarios that are occurring.
yeah,
And I think that makes people a lot creative as well, because a lot of times
yeah,
parents try to pass on their purpose a lot. Like my uncle, so to speak, both his daughters are in one of his daughters went through law school like how he did, and she went
yeah,
through it, and now his other daughter signed up for law school, but his son was out hanging out in the projects. And now he like getting
yeah,
himself together. He got his own trucking company like a couple months ago and doing the
yeah.
real estate gig and stuff like that. And I can see how people do get set up to be the real estate when they got certain kind of parents too. So I see a lot of
Yeah.
game being given, but
Uh-huh.
also it's a lot of ways where people make their own purpose or find their way through what's going on. Cause then who's to say
Yeah.
she wanna just be a lawyer? Like who's to say that's just what
Right.
she wants to do? Or that she not
Right.
talking about everything she really feels about and just learned the way to develop in the way she saw her dad did in order to get
Uh-huh.
through reality. And overall,
It's like Joe
it don't
Jackson.
matter from my perspective 'cause everybody gonna go down the same slide. But from my
Yeah.
perspective, it's like more things are going on than following what somebody wants you to
Yeah.
do.
Right. Like Joe Jackson. That's the perfect
But it helps
example
though.
of,
It helps.
yeah, Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson's father, is the perfect example of love having sex with a woman. So, but what he did different than most men do, like if you do have all those kids, then you didn't have them and they ain't got no purpose for them, then you turn your purpose. You turn them into what you was going to be. Because now you brought them in this world and they don't know why they're here. See, most kids find out why they're here when they come through mating. They find
Mhm.
out why they're here when they 6 years old. They be showing them the business they gonna run one day. They be showing them the tractors and stuff they gonna own. They be showing them the business, everything. He 10 and I already know that because he had a reason to be here. And then you got the kid that their mama had a nice ass and daddy had some big biceps and they was basing it on that and they kept flopping them out, but they never had a purpose for them. So that when they get 18, they're gonna say, hey, you gotta find a job. It ain't that they it ain't that they want them to have a job. It's just
Mhm.
that they was
They
having
just trying
sex.
to find,
Then you got
yeah. But that's why I
Yeah.
like the
Then you got
mushrooms too, cause I'm thinking
yeah,
the for the person it helps pinpoint things that other people won't be able to find out for the person. Like I've been into
yeah,
computers. I built my first computer in third grade because the teacher asked if I can stay after school. But nobody in my family knows shit about computers. Nothing. None of the family
hmm
I grew up, even to this day. Unless it's like a cousin
right,
or something that grew up now younger than me. But it wasn't nobody around. So then I didn't think it could be a career thing, really. I was like, I gotta do science and stuff like that. And now I'm like, wait, computers is.
yeah.
People could find
But
their
see,
own way. So I don't think, like,
yep,
but I hear what you mean, the struggle
I
aspect
get it.
that's given to
Yeah,
the student kid.
yeah,
But most kids
yeah,
don't feel like a student. They just like, oh,
yeah,
this is everything. This is.
yeah. Like when you go to school when you was in high school, and there was this one they call them the rich kids,
Mhm.
and most people hate the rich kids because they know their purpose.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I was
saying?
mad
You see
about
what I'm
that
saying?
about Lady Gaga before when I found out that she didn't come out of the slums and work to be a singer, but that her parents were rich and she was a snobby one in high school. Like she went to an
Yeah,
art school, like a drama. I was like, that make all the sense right there. That's why she always thinks she can do whatever
yeah,
she want. I was thinking about that
yeah,
years ago.
yeah. Yeah, same thing with Ice Cube. That was the same thing with Ice Cube's real life. I used to when I was out there when he was going to high school. I was in
Mhm.
LA when he was going to Taft High School. But little did people know about Ice Cube is, man, Ice Cube ain't never had a bad life. I'm talking about
Yeah,
never. I'm talking about
I
no. I'm talking about no
understand.
struggle. I'm talking about no struggle stories. Have you ever heard him talk about struggle?
No.
No
And
struggle. He ain't got no struggle.
even looking at my
He
life,
ain't got.
Nobby, because I
Yeah,
grew up in the projects, but also I grew
yeah,
up with five grandmoms. So I had
yes,
since I was young till I was in high school, my grandma would take us to Virginia because she lived down there. So I would be there for two
yeah,
months in a cul-de-sac going to Jehovah Witness Church. And then when I'm home,
yeah,
I could go to my nana house at her apartment and go to church, or I can go to my other grandmom house with my grandpa and like stay there for like 2 3 days type time. Just pop up and like, all right, well I'm here for a couple days. So I was able to have different opportunities to and then in
yeah,
high school, I
yeah,
got to live with my uncle, who was a lawyer, and he had like a 3-story house, pool in the
yeah,
backyard, all that stuff. And then in 12th grade, I
yeah,
said, I want to move back with my mom in the projects. So, so I got to
yeah, yeah,
experience in my own mind state a lot of these opportunities to feel like, oh, I'm just sitting back and my mind is just able to do whatever it does because it's food in the fridge. I
yeah,
know I'm gonna get to school. I
yeah,
got all this stuff, but also my mind know, oh well, we eating noodles for the third day in a row. Or oh, my mom came up with this money for dinner out of nowhere for tonight. I don't even know how she got it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it was like, all right, so now
yeah,
I have to protect. My mind is protect. I have
yeah.
to do this. And then the other one is like, I don't care about nothing. Like I'm just out
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm just a person
Yeah,
being free. So I had to really
yeah.
find myself by
That was
myself.
a
Like
blessing.
I lived 3,500 miles away from all of my family for like 5 years. I haven't
Yeah,
seen them face to face. So during these moments
yeah,
have been integral and allow me to really see how I'm moving. And then with all the talking
yeah,
that we be doing and tying it down, they popping up all the time. They popping up. I'm thinking
yeah,
about the past, thinking about me, my friends, how I attend to things, how I
yeah,
used to, what they
yeah.
would do,
Mm-hmm.
how I picked it up, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, all right, I
Yeah.
see
It,
who I am.
but I'm just glad that you. I'm glad. One thing I'm glad you did, because I don't know if you came here through sex or mating. I don't know.
Oh,
But
they
what I'm
was
saying
fucking.
is, okay.
She was
Well,
17,
not
just
well.
turned 18.
Okay. 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 Who was okay? Because you be say that in order to say they was fucking. Who was 17?
Oh, moms.
Okay. How old was he?
19.
Okay. Did he already have sex with somebody else before your mom?
That I don't know. It could be because
Because
he looked like he was already dressed fly and stuff like that.
he's only two. He's only okay. Well, he's like 2 years older. He's only like
Yeah,
2 years
yeah.
older than
I
us,
never
though.
asked.
Because if he didn't, and that was like his first or first attempt or
Mm-hmm.
whatever or second attempt, where he's trying to get it right, then he had sex with her. Because in order for him to fuck her, he's too. Their age is too close. She's 17. He's 19. There's no way that
Gotcha.
he can fuck her. He don't have the knowledge of sex. He's
Mm-hmm.
19.
I know that's why
Fornication
they
under
kind of
common.
split though, because they
Yeah,
were saying they wanted to
yeah,
live their own
yeah,
lives without having to argue, and they didn't argue growing up because they just ain't deal with each other. And they're like, you
yeah,
do what you want to do,
yeah.
just don't let it bother me.
Okay. I was gonna say that now that you told me you can't, just based on your story, you came through sex like me, and it's amazing how people like us who come through sex, yet we still gravitate to something on the planet that calls us, and then it becomes our purpose. Something that we are supposed to be born with is still out here for us to grab. Like, so in other words, if even though we didn't come through mating, and we came through sex, inside of coming through sex, purpose is among us, and whatever uh, makes us tick, we'll gravitate to it. And then that, whatever we have passion for, becomes that purpose, like of something that we want to do. You ain't got to do it, be famous and all that to fulfill a purpose. It's the consistency of something, and that's fulfilling a purpose. Like, so you don't got to be famous or nothing
Consistency.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fulfilling something consistently. That that's living your purpose, because the one thing you're passionate about, you do it all the time. It don't matter if you got $2 or 200. You do it all. That means you're living your purpose,
Uh
because
huh.
that's where your
And
passion
somebody
lies.
might even give it to you.
Yeah, because then
Here,
nobody,
I had it
because
just sitting
because then
around.
no- because then nobody teach me how to be passionate about nothing. They only taught me, uh, uh, what a job application was, or
Mm-hmm.
who's hiring. They didn't have no, you know, what I'm saying. Like, it was, what I'm saying. So
I
I
see you
had to
getting excited
I had
about
to,
that thing in the corner over there. Let's blow that up.
yeah,
It's like, nah, nah. You
yeah,
know how to sign your signature on the dotted line? Make sure.
yeah. That's why most fathers, when that's why back in the days when sons would tell their father like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna be this," and he'd be like, "Boy, you ain't gonna do that," because the reason why the dad saying that, I'm telling you, the reason
No,
why the
I'm
dad
laughing
saying
because
that,
it's real.
because that ain't, yeah, because that ain't part of his purpose. That
Yeah.
ain't part of the daddy's purpose. That's why he gonna say, "Boy, yeah, boy, you ain't gonna, boy, that'll never happen. Boy, get out of here with all those
Or
fairy tales.
just a
Boy,
light
get out of here."
chuckle. A light chuckle does it
Yeah,
for me. I don't even gotta say all
what's
of
wrong?
that.
What's wrong? What's wrong, honey? He come in here talking about he gonna be a professional wrestler. I don't want to hear that. Then 10 years later, yeah, I always thought you can do it, son. Uh, you're
Once
doing
that
good for
money
yourself.
come in.
I was, me and your mama, we heard it. We heard it, and if anything you can do for us, pops, man, you see, pops, do you realize that it'd be less children. I say about 35 to 40% less children mad at their parents if they knew the difference in mating, sex, and fucking, and broke it down to them where they could see, oh, pops, and mama, and my dad just had sex. I
Hmm.
can't even be mad if he wasn't around.
Yeah, I'd say it
They
would
didn't have no.
lessen the hate.
Yeah, how can I be mad if he wasn't around when they didn't have no plan for me?
Hmm. He ain't know what to
He not
do.
around.
People don't
He didn't know
get
what to do.
people don't get
He was trying to
mastermind
just have sex.
ideas all the time. Like,
He was trying to get
unless
have.
they
He
grew
was
up
trying to
with it.
get. Yeah, he was just trying to have sex. But see, but then, see, back in the days, we could have sex, we could mate with a chick, have a baby, we raise the child, that child do whatever we wanted to do, whatever we, and that's how everybody was happy. Wasn't no, then the sex got out of hand. They start breaking out the pornos, the magazines, putting a little bit on TV. They used to show uh
But
movies,
can you
TV,
think
with
too?
woman in one bed, men in the other.
Can
But
you
then
think
they
too that
got,
that has to do a little bit too with this the subversion or how other cultures take marriage and relationships and stuff. So when something is like suppressed or made a certain way, when it wasn't
Yeah,
just that way, just like a couple hundred years ago or whatever, and so
yeah,
then things pop up to be the extremity of things that would cause
yeah,
people to have problems.
yeah. They would have to be like some,
Cause like, why
you know,
wouldn't they show people sleeping in the bed together in like um, the old TVs in the 40s and 50s and stuff like that? Like it was,
because because it will lead to the thought of sex.
that comes
You
from
know,
their
that way
culture.
they,
But then when people don't
and
know how to think
it was
about it
less
though,
babies.
but they know how to think about it. They was going around raping
Yeah,
people. How to think
it was
about it
less
though.
babies.
But they know how to think about it. They was going around raping
Yeah,
people though still. Probably more. They ain't had cameras
yeah,
and the
yeah.
police was
When it,
crooked.
you didn't hear the word baby mama in the 50s and 60s because
Cause they abandoned them. You ain't had to call them. You just forgot
yeah,
about them.
they weren't calling they women.
No, I mean like you just left them once you had the kid. He just
Yeah,
moved to a
see,
different state.
yeah, see,
I don't even know what happened back there.
yeah, they didn't have no, and see, they didn't have no, they didn't have no baby mamas back then in the 50s and all that because all the men, you know what I'm saying, like when they had a baby by the woman, they want her to raise the child, forever. So he stay with
Mhm.
her, like kind of vibes. And then I'm telling you, I'm telling you, bro,
Yeah,
like
I'm thinking.
then
I'm just saying, even if it's
sex
more than one, because
and
then in
but
our
not
culture they say, oh, if you could love one,
sex.
but then you can't do the other one if you have a baby by him. You gotta choose, and you gotta do this and
Yeah,
that. And people like, oh, I don't know
yeah,
what to do unless I'm a millionaire,
yeah.
like Nick Cannon.
Once once the black man once the black man learned sex, once the black man learned sex, we became dangerous. You know what I'm saying? We became dangerous.
It was potent.
Like, you know, yeah, we became dangerous.
The
You know what I'm
attraction
saying?
of it.
When you think
The
about,
don't take my
yeah,
lady,
when you
said
think
the
about a
slave
dude that said,
master.
yeah,
So,
when you think about a dude that said, like, yeah, I want to have a monogamous relationship where I want to have six women. Well, well, naturally, that ain't got nothing to do with, unless you told them that I want y'all to each have a child of mine and name me my name and they gonna run this business I'm gonna put together. That'd be different. But if you ain't did that and a year then went by, you still living with them, man, he just in there having sex with them women, man. That ain't got nothing to do with no spiritual power or nothing. He's a freak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all
yeah,
this
yeah,
is, man.
yeah.
He's trying to cast this on. You know what I mean? He's a freak. He's just trying to cast it on like it's something spiritual or some good thing. Like, yeah, I think it's good to have 5 or 6 wives. I don't think a man was meant to
Now
tie
that's
down.
more of
Well, I tell you this.
cultureness, cause that's more of like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
wannabe kinda pimpish attitude where you're mostly dismissive
Yeah,
around people that's actually showing you attention. They like, man, I really don't give a fuck
yeah,
about you. It's like, yes, you do.
yeah, yeah. Well, they not called your parents for no reason, because everything you have is a pair. You got a pair of feet, you got a pair of ankles, pair of legs, pair of knees, pair of thighs. You got a pair of hands. You got everything you about you is a pair. Then you got two that come together to make a pair. So you got the father and the
Hmm.
mother. That's a pair. So you got your parents. So you got this pair. You know what I'm saying? They come together and they be the parents. You know what I'm saying? And so that construct is, man, woman, and child, because the pair is all we have. Um we have winter and summer. That's all we got. But spring and fall is the action going into the other action. You spring into summer and you fall into winter. They're just action points when the action starts taking place.
Mm.
Uh they're not actual seasons. They're just transformation points. Springing into summer, falling into winter. That's all it is. So everything's a pair. So when you think about
Oh.
uh, north, south, east, and west, and all of that, you know, when you look at it off the globe, east and west can't be found. But north and south can be found because you can go forward and you can turn back around. Once you start going this other way and that way, you're gonna lose track of where you was. So there is no,
You
but
just
once
going
you put a
forward at 90 degrees.
yeah, once you put something in a spectrum, then you can add direction. You can say east and west. So everything's a pair. So that means that you saying that you should have 6 or 7 wives.
Oh,
So
I
that
ain't say
means
that.
that no, not you. I'm saying the
I'm
dude
messing
on the
with you. I'm
TV.
messing with
I'm
you. Yeah.
saying I'm saying this dude is
But
saying
even
he's
that
supposed to have
part
that.
too, I would
But
say comes down to culture. Because
yeah,
does that person that don't live in that type of culture even know what that means? Or are they just like saying that? And then
right.
so then they'll try to do
It's,
things to
yeah,
attain that. That's not how you would even do that in another country.
yeah,
And then wonder why
yeah.
everything
Cause
is messed up. And they say, well, back to square one. Just one.
yeah, well, we've always had breeders. Our cultures, our ancestors, our tribes, and our villages, they always had a breeder. He
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be monogamous, but women wanted their children by him because he was the strongest. So
Gene
yeah, we had breeders. You know what I'm
gene
saying? But
pools.
it was he wasn't trying to be their husband, all of them at once. Just like the animals. Yeah, a dog will fuck many dogs. A dog will fuck this dog and get pregnant. Then yeah, but he won't have them all in the same area at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Just be him and that dog. And then when he has that other adventure with that other dog ain't gonna see him. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be him and that other dog. Like that. Paired up. Everything's always paired up. So when you start talking about, yeah, I want 6 or 7, there's no way you can be passionate looking 6 or 7 women dead in the eye talking about I love you more than anybody. Then tell her, excuse me, yeah, you. I love you more than anybody. Excuse me. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
why say it in the
I
first
love
place?
you. You know what
I'm
I'm saying?
messing
Like,
with
come on.
you. I'm just picking.
It's like,
But
it's like, man, it's like, dude,
I love you
I'll be
just as
like,
much as these five.
yeah,
But the way that you
I'll be
do
like,
things, when this night in
yeah,
particular, it got
he's a
me
freak.
going.
That's all it is. He's a freak.
No, if they
Ain't,
set him
ain't,
up
ain't
though with a business
freak.
on the side, I'm thinking of Andrew
Yeah,
Tate
yeah, but they set him up on it. As long as he ain't, well, if he's sleeping with him,
or Nick Cannon. No, I can't speak for him.
well,
I don't know his
well,
business.
well, Nick Cannon be mating with chicks because he got a bone marrow problem and he be needing a certain amount of bone marrow and they don't be having it enough and he's trying to stay alive so he tries to have as many kids as he can so he can always have his own match of his marrow and his bone. So he
Oh,
got a
come on.
problem and so that problem could lead to him dying. So that's why he tries to have a lot of kids. So he's not having them out of wedlock and just fuck. No, he's literally telling these women why want to have these babies with them. And that's why they doing it. If you notice, why all of them doing it? They doing it because he's telling them why he want to do it. Because of his bone marrow, his bone situation. You know,
Let
if
me
he
see.
didn't have his own supply, he would have to depend on them. He don't want to depend on them. So he making his own supply of himself, where he can get that, to stay alive as long as he's supposed to. That's all. That's why he's having a lot of kids. Now the rest of these niggas, I don't know what. I ain't heard. I don't know what's going on. Like,
Uh,
you know, I, I don't know what's going on. You
nah,
said you
nah.
got because I had all mine out of sex. See, I'll tell you first. I had all mine. All of them. I didn't have not
So
one child.
allegedly.
No, 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 no. I can go and be real
Cause
because I can't be mad at
my mom has
I can't be.
lupus. I know what you're talking about. I had to look it up. He has lupus, which can get to the bone eventually if it gets bad. But a lot of people it doesn't always reach the bone
But he,
in their lifetime.
yeah, yeah. He's
You
messed
can't.
up.
Nah,
No, for real. Like not messed up. Like, but no, he needs it. He
I know it
needs it.
can be some kind of reason why we can find why he want to have a lot of kids, or just so
Really.
happen to have a lot of kids along the way.
He talked about it. He talked about it himself. He talked about it. It's not a
I gotta
rumor. It's
see the
him. You can
I
go.
gotta see the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah. He talked about it. I forgot who he was sitting there talking to. It was one of them people. Talks
Hold on.
about his disease. Just pull up.
Oh, I
Nick
see it.
Cannon
It
talks
say
about.
they're on to me. It say Nick Cannon conspiracy theory. He responding to it in real time. I'm gonna see if I
Uh,
can bring it up. Hold on.
yeah,
What
that
screen
dude,
is this
man. You know
showing?
what I'm saying? That dude a thug, man. Shoot, that dude having babies for a reason. Like he ain't just popping. No man gonna do that. You know, because you know
Is
that's
that
a
Nick
lot of
Cannon
money from
conspiracy
different
theory?
chicks.
What?
But
Is the fact that Nick
unless there's
Cannon is
some type
having
of
all these
condition.
kids so that he can like get like bone marrow or something from them, and it
Oh.
won't hurt them
Oh.
because he got 12 kids.
So I'm just out here collecting bone marrow? What I need extra bone marrow for?
I believe it is because he was sick and he needs some kind of bone marrow or some kind of testing, so he's having more than one child. And Mariah kids don't count. Mariah Carey kids is not getting touched.
So only 10 kids.
Only them 10 kids is getting touched. Because Mariah Carey kids is the rich kids.
All my kids is rich.
It's NDAs that has been signed. I believe this conspiracy theory. He's not just having kids to have them.
They're on to me. They figured it out.
Yeah, it's too much. It was too much production around that video for me to run with it. But I can
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I
I,
don't know where that came from, but this been a. When I found out about that was probably
but
about
I can
five
see
six years ago.
future. I can see future stem cell research. Because in future stem cell research, you don't have to. They're working so you don't have to work with embryos. And you know stem. You know what stem cells are? For I say for no reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they take the shape of anything, any other form, any
hmm
other cell, but
hmm
they
Yeah.
get it so they don't have to get it from embryos now. So, or without having to like cut things open and all that other stuff. So even if it is his kids and he able to get stuff from them, I don't think you're gonna have to kill them or anything like that, or
Mm-mm.
like off
No, you
them.
don't got to kill him.
And
No,
like,
you don't got to kill him.
you were my kid, now I
Mm-mm.
sacrifice you like Abraham so I can
Mm-mm.
live and have more
Um,
kids.
no, he get that when they born. He get it from them as soon as they born.
But that is a good thing about having a kid, though. That match your blood, like that. That's help. I would want that. I think people gonna make
Yeah.
clones for that in the future anyway. They gonna make a whole bunch of clones like that movie, The Island, and then have them living a
hmm
life until the clone is like, wait a second, I could live and
No,
breathe on my own. You ain't just gonna kill me now that I'm ripe and of age. My or my.
no. The only dude, the only dude I question that I got in question that you'll be like, yeah. So Puffy and everybody, I said, yeah, but let's break it down. Let's break down Cat Williams. Right.
Excuse me.
If it was anybody else, people would call it strange. But because it's Cat Williams, nobody say nothing about it at all. My question to Cat Williams is,
What's that?
what's your goal? What's your reason behind wanting to raise seven orphan girls?
7?
Or is it eight?
I don't know. First thing
I
pop.
mean, I just want. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm just thinking of the good reasons. That's all. What you
No,
got?
yeah, I mean, I, I don't have. I'm trying to put myself in the point of what will make me want to adopt girls.
I was thinking his personality and like how
He can't have.
he learned a lot
He
from
can't. He can't just have a baby.
he. You know how people that talk about sex don't really have the most sex or that fruitful with it. They talk
hmm
about it way more
Well,
than what they're
well,
able to perform.
yeah, yeah. Well, we found out. We found out later that Madonna was breeding people to fuck her.
She was a breeder.
Yeah, she was breeding boys to fuck her.
Yeah, yeah. She always had a
She,
new
she was.
twenty
She was.
year old.
She was bringing them. She was. She'll bring them. She'll bring them from Africa, young. I'm talking about as kids, and then they
Oh.
get older, and
I'm
she be
seeing it
fucking
when
them
I was younger now. People talking about
because
that.
they not her kids. Yeah, because they not her kids.
But still, that can still be like a kinda
So
imagination over something.
okay, so my question is, what's
But
your
I hear you
history?
because like people can get away
What's
with a
your
lot of stuff.
yeah, yeah? My question, Cat Williams, is what's your history with the desire for that. Like what spawned that? Like the desire to you want to be in the house with these little girls. Now, I guess Mike was being accused of little boys. I guess you don't want that. But I'm just saying, what is your reason as a grown man and you don't really have females around?
He did kind of
So
say
I'm just
that
wondering.
though. He said he hired a lot of females in his company instead of males because they're easier to work with in the Shay Shay video.
Mhm.
Just to his credit,
Yeah,
but not to his
yeah, I
full
was just
credit.
curious.
Yeah, not to his full.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. As
yeah, I
being a
just
grown man that's probably on coke doing different things, and then got the
yeah,
girls just
yeah.
walking around the house and stuff like that. And you just a
It's like when
comedian just trying to live your life and things.
it's like Charleston White when he always talk about he helped the kids, and when I listen to the way he talk and the language he chooses to use, my only question to him would be, can you show me two of these kids, parents, not the kids, the parents, and what they say did what you did for their children? Because you keep saying these kids and stuff like that, but your demeanor is not the demeanor that a loving parent of their child would want their child around. Like your demeanor, like you be calling women bitches and hoes. So you don't think at no time none of these little kids that you're helping are seeing this? Is that what you're saying?
I
I,
think his
you
whole
know,
stink is he's kind of upset at Ria. He's smart and probably did a couple things, but he's so
yeah,
like insane about reality right now that he's focused on the money in a way that
mm,
a rapper is focused on the money. Like, I'll talk
mm,
about these things to reach my people, and then I'll put the other songs in there every once in a while to big them up. But the
mm.
others, the ones that's gonna be on the radio, is gonna be pop that ass, pop that nigga in the head if you got to, bow bow. And it's like I
Yeah,
gotta reach my
that's
people.
fine. Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. Just if you like pow pow and you like pop them in the head and I want to reach my people. But it's another thing when you telling me pow pow pow. Yeah, and I'm helping kids and I deal with a lot of kids and you you deal with who kids? Like who kids? Like who kids you like who with your posture and your demeanor, that posture that you have, who is allowing you around their kids with that posture? Because I understand that you probably 40 some years old or something like that, but you don't have the posture of a person like that. Because a person like that walks more upright because they it's like a teacher does. Like a teacher, you don't really hear about teachers really in the streets or stuff like that because they walking on thin ice around all these people's kids. So, but you is a little different for some reason. You a little different, Charleston White, because you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, bro. Like my only question to Charleston White is, show me like two of the parents and them talking about what you done for their children, and then outside, that's one thing.
mm.
That's just one thing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And then my only other thing is, uh, your demeanor. Like I've seen it before. I'm 55, and I've seen your demeanor before. And your demeanor from where I'm from, I'm not saying that every other place, but where I'm from, I'm sensing pervert. Am I right or wrong?
In a
See,
way,
because
but I'm thinking about how he react to
no,
other
I'm talking
people
about,
that
yeah.
he think
Now
is
I would say to him,
perverts. Uh
right,
huh.
but see, I'm looking at his body posture. See,
Yeah.
like my auntie used to say a long time ago. Oh, the world will tell you, the earth will tell you everything. You just keep living. Like things that don't want nobody tell you, just keep living. Life will tell you. So it's just like, it's just like when you look at that person's demeanor and body posture, then when you look at the conversations that he had, but the body posture, he is got that he's got that in him where he doesn't stand up like a man. He says things that men do, but he don't. His body posture is not like a man. But he says things that men do, and I see it. I'm like, okay, well, them no two things I ask. Like, who? One is who would let you around their kids with that type of demeanor. Two, show me the parents. Then I'll believe you. Because right now,
It's other
you've been
parents
talking.
that talk like this. That's where he around, man.
Yeah, I think I think I think Charleston White. I think Charleston White is spawning off of Hassan Campbell, who was one of the first what we call social media characters, where they put on this attitude that fits people's uh, perception of what they think streets are, the ghetto is, even if they're not even like that, but they present it, and so
Yeah.
Hassan Campbell, Hassan Campbell, he was before Charleston White, and he was doing the same stuff. He was bringing out, wanting people to have sympathy for him at first, like, yeah, I was molested, and somebody touched me. He want people to have sympathy for him first, but then once the light got on, then his real colors came out. Then he put this hat on and put some jewelry on, and he moving all weird on the screen, and talking about cutting TVs off, and the reason why Kendrick made the song TV off is because of him, because he came up with that saying. And so he's, then Whack 100 and they'll start coming around. He started really feeling it. So Charleston White comes out of nowhere. Same type of intro. Like, yeah, helping the kids and, you know, man, they got video of you telling on your friends back then. See, a lot of things you say don't add up, man. Like, it seems to me that you as a boy, that when you were young, and you may have had that little handicap with your eye, that you've always felt you had something to prove. It's almost like a short, like a guy.
Oh, he just was talking about that on the last podcast I watched with him. That when he was young, he wasn't in school for a couple of years because he had to keep getting eye surgeries back to back. And he said the streets tricked him. That's what it was about. You got to see this one. He said the streets tricked me. He said, I thought that you had to do all of these things to be a man, and that this just what it was. And he tried to say it from a third person perspective, but saying that like that's legit how his mind was coming across things at the time and believed it to be true. Like, I believed I had to do these things. I believed it. He said, that's why I come against it so hard now, because I see now he think other people believe they gotta do this.
Yeah.
He said I was tricked, but he was bullied, and he said he felt as though he had to stick up more for himself. And he is a short guy. Yeah. He's very short. All these people on the YouTubes and stuff are like 5'3", 4.
That's what I thought when you add up his demeanor. So it's like, okay, so it's cool. Your demeanor is a little different. Like, because it's like, we got this guy, Flacco, from South Dakota somewhere, and he's passionate about black on black crime. It's like eating candy bars or eating candy to him. Like, he's not even from this side of the states, but he narrates the drama, and it's amazing. Like at some point, like, somebody gotta say, hey man, like, we understand y'all doing social media characters and all that, but some people be taking y'all serious. Like Dr. Umar. This guy comes out. Yeah, Dr. Umar. He comes out the gate talking about he's Frederick Douglass, his family and all this. So this is the craziest thing in the world. Frederick Douglass' real family made a statement and said they didn't know him. He went over that. He went over that and said, "Well, that's my because my father's cousin was married to their, which made me a second cousin." But man, that
they
ain't what
bring
you said.
sensationalism. That's the
Yeah,
name
he
of the
wanted.
game. Because
Yeah, he wanted.
Charleston was saying that too. He was saying, "Why you still beefing with this guy and stuff? Like, don't you think this is gonna go wrong and this and that?" He said, "Man, we only beefing when we on the internet." He said, "We met up and stuff and we talk." They said, "But it's like this one on the internet. It's not like that in person." And
Uh,
he said that was
right.
the
So
first person I started beefing with when I got on YouTube, and that's what made me. He
yeah,
helped me pop off and stuff. And he said, "You think a
yeah,
lot of them jealous that you like got farther and like they where they
yeah,
are now?" And he said, "Yeah." And I would say, "Cause he know how to use the sensationalist factor, like, even if it's not true, like run it up,
yeah.
run it up like
This
Hollywood."
dude, this dude said, "I work with kids. I'm an activist," and then turn around and say, "Fuck King Von, fuck King Von Mama, fuck King Von Daddy." I'm like, this the same dude that said he working with the kids? I'm trying to look, bro. Show me two parents, like I said, that's that's
But
that's
I think he was
authorizing
kind of
these.
saying that too, because I know how you got to still like stick up for King Von and them because it's so many people that's gonna already automatically listen to his music and be part of the lore and culture around it. So if they can have some positive views along the way, that's cool. But I think from his point of view too, he was thinking because I was thinking about it too when I saw that was why are you looking up to him in the first place? Like he's just another person that's gonna preach
Right?
murder back to your
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Well, I'm just saying, like for a activist that deal with children, you wouldn't expect him to be on TV saying fuck anybody. It's
Yeah,
just an
I think he's running off
oxymoron.
the influences though, because just like Kanye West is doing with the 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 Double H song, the How Hitler
Yeah,
song, is
yeah,
trying to be back in the person's face the same way that use the same tools that's being used already. Like if you gonna hate, I'm gonna do use the same kind of hate to get to them. Like if
Ka-
y'all know that y'all can get to the
Kanye,
black people by putting the
yeah,
chains and everything in front of their face, then that's
Kanye,
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the chains in their face and then start talking.
Kanye West has not been the same since when Jay Z and Beyonce left me alone. He was kind of angry for that, but when he found out that Drake was fucking around with his wife and other niggas that he found out, even though he said he married her and he knew that it was like that because he wanted to marry a stripper, he brought up a little video with him and his mom or somebody saying showing that he always felt that way. But when she when she went ahead and went complete with the mission, see, celebrity and fame don't mean shit because when you have babies by somebody and you feel like you of importance, and then now what I'm saying, the girl gone, and now Drake and all these dudes and all these other dudes, he know it. He know what's going on. So that's what's driving him crazy to me. To me, Kanye is just a rich dude that, just like a poor dude that don't know how to accept the wife gone, and they be doing all this crazy stuff, and he just rich. But
Yeah,
ain't nothing else really bothering him but Kim Kardashian. He may not be saying that. That's why he married that one girl, but at the same time he show her in disrespectful ways. Because he's still trying to make Kim jealous, but at the same time say I don't care about her. Instead of getting with somebody really doing something right, no, he tried to use her as a get jealous piece.
but
So
that is too what Kim was already doing. She was just getting paid more for it. She's getting paid directly to
yeah, Kim
pose
been doing it.
and do different things. So it's
Yeah,
probably what
Kim
he
been
already into, like public exposure
yeah.
of his
See,
girl in order to feel a certain way.
yeah, yeah. See, this all happened right. If you go back to, let's just do the timeline. Let's go back to Kanye's behavior before the song "Kiki" by Drake. What like let's go to the year that was, and then what was Kanye West doing? You know what I'm saying? Like when you like he was hanging out with Pusha T and David Chappelle. He's talking about God, making God songs, and you know hanging with his dad, and you know he was chilling. And then that came out, and people put some things in his ear, and some messed up stuff in his ear too. Like that's why he want Jay Z. That's so messed. That's why he want Jay Z to call him. There ain't no other reason why he want Jay Z to call him. And Jay Z not gonna call him because Jay Z know he don't. Yeah, like she been around Puffy and them and all that. She was around them. She been around them like way before uh, having kids by Kanye and all that. She been around Hove and all them. And when she got married to him, Hove played the background. It's like the freak at the parties. Y'all always kicking it with it, but then one of your boys end up marrying her. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So now I gotta keep my wife over here because it's like, bro, you bring it. You know who that is? But I don't care, man. I don't care. Like shit. All right. You know what I'm saying? She ain't gonna be around my woman. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when he found out about the Kanye, found out about him too. In that conversation, like allegations of Jay Z even touching her. So he like, Jay Z, call me, bruh. Call me. Jay like, nah, it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't calling. Like, nah, I already know. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't okay. She wasn't your wife. She wasn't your wife though when I did it. But I should have told you. Yeah, I should have told you. Yeah. Yeah, you come on, man. Kim Kardashian was getting busy.
Yeah, she started off as an assistant.
Yeah, she was getting busy. Man, that nigga's just a storm. Man, Kanye West is just a. What happens? See, when the poor dude loses woman and loses mind, no nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? But the rich dude, he losing his mind behind a freak, and they blaming it on everything. He only doing the swastikas, and it's like a dude trying to keep attention on himself and keep something going on himself because he's hurt. He's hurt because what he really want going on is control of Kim. But it's too late now. I think she might be pregnant. I don't know. Somebody pregnant. You know what I'm saying? It might be her. I don't know. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Kanye just going. That's all that is. He just going. He made all this old excuse about the Jews and all. Man, if that woman was with you, you wouldn't be saying nothing. You wouldn't be saying nothing. She left you. And been with two or three guys since then. All these women leaving they dudes. It's going on because these women are also knowing like, yeah, I know what y'all doing to get that money. Hmm. See, Jay Z, he kept Beyonce, you know, when you 12 years or he 12 years, 13 years, 12 or 13 years older than her. So, yeah, he showed Beyonce the world. You know what I'm saying? You know, turned her out. You know what I'm saying? So he got her young, turned her out, all that. It don't matter if she famous. You know what I'm saying? As I said, all that fame and all that don't mean shit behind closed doors. As a man, he turned her out. You know what I'm saying? So and had her uh accept the fact he wanted to be with Tata too. Like these yeah, Jay Z too. Jay Z ain't no different than Diddy. Only thing no, I take that back. The only thing different than Jay Z and Diddy is Jay Z keeps the same man. When he like Busta Rhymes, they'll keep the same man. When Puffy mess with many men, but Jay and them Jay been having the same partner since he was young. Like they like Busta Rhymes. They don't. But then Buster have been getting wild, like because he's older. He been getting wild. He don't care if nobody know no more. He grabbing me in by the arms and shit. Like it's getting wild. He getting wild. Yeah. Jay Z, he not trying to show signs that he's managed no more. But you need to open your mouth, man. We already know. Everybody knows that. Everybody. We understand that your mother was like that. You know what I'm saying? You growing up seeing that with your moms. We already know all that. We understand why Tata around. We get it. Don't say nobody gonna hold that against you, bro. But to go out like you going out, you know you doing that old Eddie Murphy game. That's that Eddie Murphy game. Like you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, I didn't. Nah, I would never do nothing like that. Yeah, I picked up the trans bands, right? But I was just looking for somebody else. Right, come on,
Hey, Nabi, give me one
yo,
second. Thanks for being on the podcast. I'm gonna be back.
yeah,
I'm gonna be
yes,
in the
sir.
Discord. I'm about to end the live so I can move around a lot more while I'm on here.
Okay, okay.
Hold on one second.
Uh, All right, I'm gonna pause it up.
All right, everybody. Hey, thanks Nabi for coming on the show again. If you want to be a part of the show, you already know what to do. But this just tied down. Just think about it. Goodbye your mind with your heart. See what you got, mind saying, let whatever come out. Just come on out. Check out the Just Tied Now Mushrooms.com, ZapLearnAI.com, Diddy Trial Live. Netify. I'm gonna post the links. But we got a lot in store. If y'all was watching the last live, the game is coming in play. I'm almost finished.